Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the desk. Just heard Omo called out by his fellow Buriam United homie here. How do you feel about that coming
Well,
from What's the Jess?
I guess I gotta wash the BRU jersey, iron it for him, and pass it back the next time I see him. Heartbreaking, but I deserve it.
Great interview there by Mika with the victorious support of Buriam United. Now, our next match is Furious Gaming taking on Nova. Now, Furious Gaming is one of Latin America's best teams. Who should we be keeping an eye on this match here?
For me, it has to be about Pruja in that mid lane. You know, Pruja is a player that has a huge, diverse champion pool. He's played champions like Vayne mid lane, which is his second most played champion. He's played Kayle mid lane, Tristana mid lane. This is a player that can play aggressive, that goes all in, and is definitely going to be the main player to watch out for Furious Gaming.
And on your screens as well, Irelia mid lane, we know he plays Katarina, and he's definitely gonna need to pull off a bit of a miracle here against Nova if they want to try to pull off a win. The whole roster is solid, but you're gonna be looking for the mid lane to be explosive.
Again, we know how powerful the WRL is, but again, the Argentine squad here with an Uruguayan and a Chilean as well, looking to create the upset of the tournament. I know we just got one last time according to our expertise, but looking for another one here for Furious Gaming for the LATAM region. Now, on the opposite side, this is a huge event for Nova Esports, as this is the first time they're running a full squad from their own region. Kind of a homecoming there, because a lot of the time they've been representing a North American region or another region itself, but this is a Chinese squad here. And when you take a look at this full roster, one player sticks out above the rest.
And that would be Long, right? Back home in the WRL, he's caught as Long Zhizi, the son of the dragon, because he's such an MVP player. He steals every dragon. He's got the most MVP for his team. But without Guagua, without his Ajo mid to set him up, let's see if he can pull off the same performance here.
You talk about MVPs, you know, Long is a player that is the MVP of China, the MVP, so basically the best player in China, so you need to make sure you keep an eye on that
something.
one. Exactly. But another important point as well is that the mid lane for Nova, there is a swap out. Guagua couldn't be here, unfortunately, so it is Nian playing in the mid lane for Nova. But the thing about Nian is that he has been with this squad throughout the entire year. He has been a substitute throughout the entire year. He didn't unfortunately play a single game, but I wouldn't be surprised if that synergy is still there for Nova, even with mid lane coming in.
Again, the MVP of China,
it's crazy,
quantified by the most MVP awards during the WRL. So a lot to look for here in the jungle matchup. If you like some Golden Feet now, we'll get you some Long here. All right, these are two very strong and powerful teams. So who do you got pulling out the W today?
Well, I think it's going to be a definite 2-0 here for the WRL. I think Nova are going to stomp this one. I want to add on one extra quick fact. This is a team that was #1 in the regular season for the WRL. They had a hard time adapting to players, but I feel like this just shows how good this team, the caliber of the players is insane. I feel like this should be a fast one for them.
Yep, same 2-0 over Esports. I think it's going to be pretty fast. It's going to be pretty easy, I think, for Nova. I don't want to look down on LATAM, but I think China, just as a region, we saw it yesterday as well, just how strong they are, and Nova is definitely another one as well up there.
Right. Well, we were looking for maybe some 2-1s here, some 3-game series. We thought we were going to get it in the last one. I don't know if this is where we're going to find it, but we'll see. I guess it's time to find out if we were right or if we were wrong. Again, send it on over to Grant and DJ for the broadcast.
I have a little more faith in you guys this time around.
He's going to be wrong.
I have a little more faith in you guys this time around. I think you guys have a better chance.
Who did they
this
predict?
One. They predicted Nova.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there we go. Well, I'm Grant here with me as TJ, of course. As we go into our second series, it is Furious versus Nova Esports, and we're going to see what they have in store for us. We had one of the best matches in play-ins shape out with Quantum Freaks versus BRU, the second match of Day 2 of play-ins. Thoughts on this, TJ?
Well, I think this is obviously not as close of a match by our bookkeeping, right? It's very easy to go into a match like Africa versus BRU and say this is going to be incredible. This match, harder to see Furious Gaming compete. A newer team from a newer region. There's an incredible amount of experience and money being put into the Chinese scene right now, and that, I think, is why this match is all about Nova. Furious Gaming, can they land a couple of punches? Can they look good in team fights? That would say something important about Furious Gaming. But the expectations are all off them They have everything to play for. They can do anything they want. Over on the Nova Esports side, this is our first look at one of the teams we expect to be in the conversation to win this entire tournament. So, different weights on both sides.
So, and we look back towards Furious Gaming, even though now they're up against a difficult opponent, we still look at them as the best in their, one of the best in their regions, coming into a prestigious event. They are still out here trying to perform. And now we look towards Nova Esports, where we have, like you mentioned, a powerhouse for the WRL.
Yeah, I think the correct framing here is like just to not make it unfair, right? We cannot sit here and say Furious Gaming are expected to win this match.
Sure.
But what we can do is we can say, if Furious Gaming look good in this match, if they keep it close, if they are able to knock Nova off their game, win a couple of fights, that is a success. That is a win
Absolutely.
that speaks very well for Furious Gaming, that speaks very well for their entire region. Over on the Nova Esports side, we kind of have this shaky thing going on with Korea right now, right? Where we've seen multiple Korean teams look a little weak. So the questions I'm looking to have answered for Nova Esports are kind of the inverse. Are all the Chinese teams looking as strong as the Korean teams aren't? We've seen two Chinese teams so far. They both, JDG and J-Team, looked incredibly strong. And if Nova Esports come in here and look as dominant, then we have answers in terms of the regional power rankings, I think. We can say put China at the top. We can safely talk about that WCS slot right there in the middle. And maybe, unfortunately for Korea, they're sliding down.
We'll find out more with Flash Wolves coming in next series
yeah?
as well. So WCS could really solidify it.
Could be a big day for you, Granton. Could be a big day for the WCS gang.
But I did not put out my predictions.
No.
If I had, they would be 100% right.
Well, you can't say that. You're not allowed to do that. Like, say what you will about Leonard, and I know we certainly do, but he took the risk. He went out at the beginning of the day, he said what his predictions were, and then they came true.
So here's the thing. Because I have placed my predictions in for the groups, the teams making out play-ins, technically it does show that. It just doesn't specify as much. Because I still have BRU going through as the second. So if they can drop
As
and
the
they can
second
win,
team.
as the second team in their group.
I'm giving him a look right now. You can't see it on camera. I don't think he predicted anything. Who are they going to lose to?
Well, I think we
Liberty
might-
or Sentinels?
We'll see.
He's almost a North American fan. That was almost a Sentinels prediction.
You almost got me there, but I will not be baited in. As we are waiting to get into our second series of the day, Furious Gaming and Nova Esports.
Give me a draft.
We want to see that draft. We
Yes.
want to see what's
Always.
going on in the minds of these teams. So far, the WRL has shown us Staple Wild Rift.
Whenever someone's like, what do you want to be doing right now? The answer is picking champions.
You have an entire person for that role.
Really? Who?
Yeah, like some like teams.
Oh,
Like
you're talking
some-
about coaches. Is it?
Yeah, some coach, like some teams have a
yeah.
specific coach just for the drafting phase.
Yeah. Do you think that's true? I bet that's true for some of the WRL teams because
Of
they have
course.
such giant infrastructure behind them. Mobile esports, of course, huge in China. They've had
Without
pro
a doubt.
leagues, multi-million-dollar pro leagues for various mobile games before, and of course, League of Legends, huge in China, with the LPL being one of the, I think, the preeminent esport league in the world. And so, Wild Rift already has so much money, so many viewers in the Chinese scene, that when you look at these teams, they do just have a step ahead, probably a drafting coach.
You have draft coaches, individual role coaches, right, and overall head coach.
Sure.
You know, it is no wonder why the WRL is so strong when you have such an amazing framework for improvement.
They
for
also play
growth.
so many more games than every other region.
And that is very true.
I do genuinely think that helps. They started their season later and then every team played like 40 games or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then,
And if you go into playoffs, you play even more than that.
and some of the teams went into playoffs, made it pretty deep into the playoffs, and then had to qualify through the last chance qualifier.
Yes.
Crazy stuff in the WRL. They're playing so many more games.
In an
that-
ideal position, that's still like over 90 games. I think the number Kangas gave was like 97, something like that. And if you go in from an unideal position, that's 3 digits. Imagine starting late in the season and still playing over 100 games to get to icons.
So they've been boot camping. One
Oh,
of the many
absolutely.
reasons why the Chinese teams look terrifying here on the stage. The other, the wealth of experience. Many of these players have played previous mobile titles, been world champions in very competitive leagues. Actually, here's a fun factoid for you. A couple of the Korean players that we just saw on Freaks, a couple of the NA players, MTS, played in those titles, played in those pro leagues for Chinese mobile games.
And here we have it, draft for game number 1 between Furious Gaming and
No
Nova
time for
Esports.
fun facts, it's time to pick champions. Furious Gaming, the big story is Prusher in the middle of the map. He is going to be their carry, he is who their entire team builds around. Echo is their jungler, but rather than playing stuff like Lee Sin, Echo prioritizes boosting Prusher ahead. He plays a lot of more supportive jungle champions in order to enable their mid laner. Prusher, if he can't get an assassin, if he doesn't feel like running Fizz, he'll run AD carries. He runs like Kaisa mid. He'll run crazy Ashe mid stuff that we don't normally see. And I want to see that from him here because if your entire team is built around Prusher succeeding, get him a good champion here. You're on the world stage. That is the only swing Furious Gaming could take, especially given that Nova do have that mid lane sub.
I mean, Lucian might well be the perfect pickup for Furious Gaming.
Sure.
With the current developments in it now, seems like a match made in heaven for Prusher in the mid lane.
Anything that can bully, maybe take advantage of the fact that...
That's pronunciation.
Thank you, I'm working on. Maybe take advantage of the fact that it's less impressive when you realize that I've been casting Chinese teams for like a while, and I still...
Well, don't sell
it
yourself
wrong.
short, you know.
get it wrong a lot.
Well, Nova Esports identified the Lucian as the potential issue, and so they will ban that away.
No
as
Lucian.
the first pick will be the Karma.
Wonder. If that's my gut says that it's going to be Kapasiba playing the Karma. Kapasiba, very aggressive, very mechanically skilled support player for Furious Gaming. It could be Prusher, but that would mean that Prusher just lacks a certain amount of firepower. You can obviously build AP Karma, focus on doing damage with her,
Right.
but she doesn't do the same kind of damage as the champions that Prusher normally likes to pick. He has played Karma in the past. During those games, they focused on getting gold onto Sarther primarily, and making him be the carry. So, if that's the case, that's what we'll see.
Wow, an interesting choice here from Furious, going in with the Riven. Curious where this is going to go, if it's going to go to Prusher. We've seen more Riven jungle, but doesn't quite seem to fit Echo's playstyle.
My gut here is we're putting this Riven in the mid lane. However, the beautiful thing about this draft is it could be anything. This is a very flexible opening to the draft from Furious Gaming, and Furious Gaming have solid drafts. A lot of the LATAM and actually Wild Tour teams do a really good job playing draft phase, really flexible.
Right.
Have a ton of really cool draft picks to play.
No Esports go for the safe option. We see the Ziggs, we see the Kazis, and the Renekton.
Yeah.
Doesn't get more staple than that.
This is a team that is looking at Furious Gaming and they're saying, if we play bog standard Wild Rift, if we don't make any mistakes, we'll win. And so they are going to show up, going to deliver some bog standard Wild Rift. They've very good safety in the Renekton. Ziggs, the Kaz to finish off kills once the Ziggs knocks them low. The Ziggs is probably AD carry by remake. It's the very back of the fight, throwing damage out. The only thing I'm looking for is maybe another tank in the armies to build up that front line a little bit more. And it's going to be very difficult to break that. You're going to need to get past the double tank, something like a Brawl, something like a Thresh and the Action. You need to get past them in order to get kills.
I think Furious have identified the same thing, the Alistar banned away. They do not want to deal with a double tank. And the first thing they don't want to deal with is the Alistar. Get a 1v1 with that. You can know how smoky it will be.
Brandon beat me in 1v1 on AP Alistar.
Because I had the better roots.
Yes, he did outplay me in the root selection. Ow! On the ban out, interesting. So,
The same branch.
yeah, still some very good tank supports available for Nova, and I do expect it to come through here. Furious Gaming quite badly need a tool to access the backline. You see this banned out by Nova, that's because they're identifying that same thing of if Prusher can get an all-star carry, if they can have backline access, then it's going to be really scary. I like the Gragas, that's a tank.
Yeah, Nova get the Gragas here. It doesn't seem like they have any shot options for what they might want to try and play for in the support role. Of course, we have to mention here, Long coming in. Omo hyped him up as the child of the dragon, the son of the dragon.
He was so proud of that.
He is very proud of that. And looking forward to see how his performance on the Kazakhs is going to be. It has been one of the most dominant pickups in the WRL.
Ooh. I don't know how I feel about that. So this means that it is going to be Karma mid, Pressure playing the Karma, presumably AP. Oh!
My
I told you!
Oh my
Nobody
goodness.
believed me!
The Tristana for Furious Gaming. Pulling out the big guns
Nobody believed me!
from the get-go.
Here's the thing about Tristana, I don't think it's going to do very well in this match. Now, if Sarthar can get to the late game, this works. And this is the playstyle that, as we talked about, Furious Gaming default to sometimes when they feel like they can't get a good carry for pressure. They go, okay, Sarthar's now our carry. And they're going to give him the Tristana, which is one of the game's like hyper carries. And if he gets to the late game on this champion, he will be able to detonate even Renekton. He will be able to one-shot people.
Right.
Tristana just got... She is incredibly powerful once she has completed her crit build. So you're looking basically at the completion of Infinity Edge and then 2 more crit items, usually Storm Razor and Rapid Fire Cannon. But you also see Static Shiv, like anything like that. Once you see 2 or 3 crit items complete, that Tristana does damage. Until that point, she does not do damage, which makes it devastating to play her in a Dragon lane, especially into something like the Zig that can sit on the other side of the map and just poke away.
But of course, as we start to see Furious Gaming start to ramp up, skill up, Sarthar will have that impact game. We have late game scaling options on Nova Esports, but the response out here from the Tristana.
I will say,
Tristana,
if Furious Gaming can get to the late game, that Tristana is really interesting. And if one thing that Furious Gaming do is have pretty good team fights.
right.
So, Nova Esports, there's an angle where they could lose the late game team fight, the Tristana could come online and it could all be over. All too fast. I do think Nova Esports are going to play very fast during the early game. The second they see this Tristana on the map, especially with a Nami alongside it, the call should just be, that lane is so easy to gank. The call should just be, that lane is not going to be able to leave their turret for the first 5 minutes.
Especially with the Gragas, it makes it so easy to keep putting pressure on the bot side.
Absolutely. So, Nova Esports, I expect to show up early in the bottom and try to knock out the game there.
Well, it could be scrappy, it could be clean, but I'll tell you what, it is game number 1 between Furious Gaming and Nova Esports. Day 2 of the Icons Global Championship shaping up pretty hot, and well, look at this. An aggressive move. They're actually going to have pressure with the Tristana mid.
Okay.
So, exactly like you mentioned, it is that playstyle.
And this is something that Pressure has done before. He has played Tristana mid before, so this isn't the craziest thing in the world. We got baited a little bit by the champion select screen, but this is something he's done before. And this makes a little bit more sense into something like a Corki, because the Corki also takes a while to get going, and Pressure will have the support of Echo in lane to boost up.
So having that additional power, being able to get so much more done here. I mean, looking forward to the overall performance here from Pressure, and we start to see now some of the damage that able to be put out by Nova in the bot side.
Fun little side effect of that, of course, is that we have the Karma Nami lane.
Yep.
This is the we're gonna help Pressure in 5 minutes lane. It's gonna be pretty difficult to do damage to that lane. It can just sit. They can just sit on the other side of the map and poke away. But they're also not gonna really be able to do anything once we get out of the first couple of minutes. Not gonna be a lot of damage.
They will help Pressure a lot.
Yeah. If we get to team fights, Furious Gaming have a really interesting draft because you can drop. Oh wow. Yais is eating this lane. It's the second time he's full comboed Libra, and Libra's just been like, well, I guess I'll Haymaker the wave. I guess I'll get some free farm.
And a lot of this, I feel like as well, is the fact that Yizu is playing a staple kind of champion. You know, you could go for a more aggressive pickup, more aggressive option, but when you have the Renekton, you know it always provides a certain amount of safety in your lane.
Yizu is so good in these opening levels, right? This is prime Renekton territory. The set will get bigger if things don't go wrong in that side. I want to see Long kind of impact these lanes. We talked about how difficult it should be to play this bottom lane under pressure. Here it is.
Go might be on here in the side as well. Yeah, I mean trying to beat them out though, but not quite able to do it. Still holding steadfast.
Good
actually starts
bubble.
to dash in. Remake will pull the attention over, but a beautiful flash over by Echo. Over the wall back to turret.
Here comes Pressure hunting for something. So much of this early game from Furious Gaming, it's like they're playing an assassin, right? Whenever you're playing with a Z, you're like, okay, how do we get gold onto the Z during the opening levels so that they can one-shot people in the late game? That's what they need to do with Pressure.
An awkward spot here as Pressure is going to start walking over. Long's going to spawn him out. He was clearing the control ward. The rest of his team able to respond. The wave crashing into the mid-side. Pressure losing a lot of golden EXP.
Ooh, how about Siva? I talked about how good he is as a support player. We're seeing it here.
Pressure. This is very interesting. Very well-timed use of the jump. Will manage to pull
Face
them
breaker!
away, and Furious Gaming roam into the mid lane and find first blood. First on the bot goes over to Furious Gaming, and a second pickup as Nova lose mid laner and support.
First blood to the WOL. Latam standing
go.
tall as they find 2 picks. Nova Esports, they started out as a very clean little invade, and then they just hung around here. When Long recommits, stays here longer, they're asking for trouble. And Trouble's name is Libra.
A huge phase breaker from Libra onto 3 members. That's the point. There we go. Those claps.
That's a coach right there.
Rapid clapping action. That's the way we do things. And yes, and it seems like now Libra in an awkward position against Isa, not able to get much more done, has now found this gold advantage. Will be able to reset, come back in with that Black Cleaver. A good spot for Furious Gaming to be in. This is exactly what they were hoping for. Anything to help accelerate pressure up.
I will flag Pressure not doing so great on the gold count.
Sure.
Did have to rotate around a lot, did have to lose some waves. You can see how much emphasis Nova are putting on keeping him from getting gold right now. And that's paying off. We were talking about this during the last series about how KDF weren't doing a very good job of restricting gold gain. This is a masterclass on how to do it from Nova. Even though they're like messing up and losing players, he's still behind because he's constantly being forced off of his wave. These minion waves are constantly dying to tower shots, which means that Furious Gaming don't get the gold from them, and Nova build up a significant lead.
And Su kills up, but no gold difference, and so we start to see where that comes from for those waves crashing in, from Pressure losing some gold in the mid lane. Well, first spawn coming up now.
First spawn coming up for these 2 dragons, and look at this shove from Furious Gaming, rotating Pressure up the river, trying to find a kill and turn immediately onto this mountain drag.
And doing a good job to establish control here. Yami a little bit far behind.
Double ward on the mountain drag, so Nova don't need to check this. They know that it's not been started, and
But
instead
we
they
do
can
have the
just
flank angle from Yan over by the back. Pressure coming in now, gets the bomb on first.
They're just trying to find an angle. This isn't about fighting for Nova. This is about finding a mistake that they can punish.
Dragon started up, will allow it to reset.
It's just stretching its wings, Grandin.
Going for a stroll by the river.
Going for a flap by the river. Top lane all the while. He's just farming away.
Absolutely, Nyen also able to escort the wave to the bot side. Now Dragon started up for Nova. The ward is there, but look what happens here. Stout defense from Yami.
And Furious couldn't find a way to get into that whole mess. You saw them have controlled the river, but not be able to gain traction against Nova, who every time they turn to focus Nova, Nova would, like, drift away, pull back, refuse to engage them.
Stopping the resets from Echo gives them a little bit more space to play from.
Especially because Long did get a reset during that time. So he's going to leave the base, use that time to regain control around this Rift Herald, which is still on the map. And there's the possibility that Nova get both early objectives.
Sure looks like they are planning for that, TJ. Setting up some vision towards the top side now. Libra went on a bit of a journey to try and put that ward down, but now it's been cleared out. Nova set to establish control here.
So Storm Ray is our first item for this Tristana. Means that they're going to be very effective at using their third ability, the Bouncing Bomb. So they're going to go ahead and apply that to towers especially, and just be able to melt towers. That's how Pressure's hoping to gain gold.
Pressure and Echo making a dive to the bottom end. The exhaust comes through, flash away
That's
from
huge.
Yen, but it's not going to be enough. It's
Nyan's
taken
dead.
down. Pressure with the kill credit.
They're able to get turret as well because he gets demolished. So the second that wave crashes, that turret will just melt. This is the dream for Pressure. In the meantime, Rift Herald does get taken by Nova Esports, so Pressure abandons the bot lane far for a moment. The full team rotates into mid.
Trying to send an race to pull in remake, looking for a catch.
And the fight dream is pretty good. Transcendent Embrace into Tidal Wave, double enchantment spells set up for Pressure and Echo to just combo on the center enemy players. Furious Gaming do need all 5 players there to execute that plan now. Here's the trade we were talking about.
Performing best when you have that full team effort.
Well, he doesn't get it.
Still up.
Oh.
They need a few more waves, but I don't have Yen has anything to say about it.
Yeah, he literally one more wave under the turret. He will delete it if he can get the sticky bomb on the turret. But that's why Neon's here. Make sure he doesn't.
And I'm liking what's happening here from Nova. No kills, but head and gold.
That's WRL.
That's a macro for you.
Yeah, this is just a very clean demonstration of their strength and a very clear demonstration that they understand this matchup. Not even so much that Furious Gaming are like scary to them in fights, but that the only way Furious Gaming win this game is if they win really good fights.
So why accept the fight?
Why take fights? Of Esports, just playing passive, letting the game wash over them. What was it you were talking about yesterday? Being like water. Fitting the vessel they're contained in.
Yes, that is correct, TJ. I did in fact say when water is in a glass, it becomes the glass. Be
Right.
formless. Be like water, my friend. I definitely did not misquote that yesterday.
My point is, that's Nova Esports right now.
Absolutely. Facing off against a different opponent. Yeah, playstyle adapts as well.
Rift Herald summons in the middle of the map, it'll crash.
They have, of course, the Corki, not the Corki, but rather the Zig Satchel. Not necessary, but they still find a mid lane turret. Engage coming through here.
Wow.
Libra got a good fight for them last time around, but this time a much more difficult task to execute. Prussia starts to rush in, looking for the first kill. Gets isolated. Long starts to jump in as well. The exhaust starts to come in. Prevents damage out from Long.
And you see some danger there for Furious Gaming. Their entire composition is functional around that combo. Tidal Wave, Transcendent Embrace, Prussia jumps in, Echo jumps in. They try that there, don't find a kill. And if Nova had had the resources or the desire to re-engage, it would have been so dangerous for them. They're very lucky, Furious Gaming. Nova do not re-engage. But they're desperately taking swings now as the Gold League continues to grow, nearing 4,000 consistent.
And
Neon
Yen
taking another turret.
off in the side lane with the Howlbreaker Corki. Gets them a turret through the chaos. While Furious Gaming were committed to the mid fight. And the saddest part about that, TJ,
Okay.
was you said you were worried that Nova were going to re-engage against Furious Gaming in a 4 versus 5.
Yeah.
They were about to lose a 4
Well,
versus 5.
They didn't have the players, like I said. I think if they have 5 players, they 100% recommit. You know, 4v5, it's dangerous because Prussia still does have damage. But you absolutely see a window where all their spells are down.
Libra isolated and in danger.
Here's
Gets
Echo.
chased after by the Void Assault. Should have the damage to finish off the kill onto this set as they take down
Stasis!
Yami. A beautiful
Pressure's
job
here!
done. Facebreaker back
Pressure's
over on
here!
the Easer, and Prussia gets a pop off, jump in, finish off the Renekton, then, but he picks up the honey fruit on the way, and still alive here. Prussia cannot chase after.
1-for-1 trade, still a good one for Furious Gaming because the gold goes on to Prussia. But Yize functioning as intended, soaking up all of that Tristana damage.
Dragging up in 3 seconds, and as long as sucks this one up. Furious Gaming over by the back end of the pit.
Furious can contest this, they need to contest this. Infernal is too powerful to give over for free.
Especially with the composition, but Prussia's already brought down so low so quickly. Echo jumps into the pit, but still along the secures it with the chilling smite, jumping in with the package, but you have the exhaust back over onto Nyen. It doesn't matter as Echo goes down. Nova continue with the chase, looking for the isolate, looking at the spikes. No lead, but he has the invisibility. No kills for Long just yet.
Capo Siba thought, hey, maybe I should heal Prussia just to, you know, be sure. And it turns out that saved his life. Furious Gaming make their way out of that fight with their carry intact, but barely.
Always heal your carries, man.
Furious Gaming running out of time here. I talked about third item. He's now got 2 crit items over there for Prussia. Waiting on the third, probably something like Rapid Fire Cannon or Static Shiv. And he's got to complete that whole item to really do damage.
Libra making a beeline in onto Nova Esports, but he's been isolated away from the rest of his team. But a double man, Aqua, Center Embrace pulling back Easer, but they don't have the damage to finish off the Renekton. Libra comes in to leap out from Long to finish off the top laner. Furious Gaming back away from the Rift Herald as it despawns. They know there's something to fight for, but they don't back away far enough. Prussia isolated and going down. The big one out from Yen. They pick up the kill.
Dan spending all of these fights hovering at max range, just on Varus duty almost. Poking and prodding and dropping the HP of these engaged players before they can properly engage.
It's New Age Corki, my man. AJ, it's New Age Corki. He's max range. He does it all.
What New Age Corki sound like when they play in the club?
It sounds like it.
That's a good answer. Check out the range playing from this fight. Watch them poking here at Echo, fighting back, hovering at the side. Just this entire fight out of range of any retaliation, doing significant damage. And of course, on the opposite side, Prussia wins so much of the team damage because he doesn't go way in. The only person who can properly attack is the tankiest person on the team. It's Giza who just takes the hits, no problem at all.
Thing is worth mentioning, I mentioned earlier that the Rift Town had despawned. That is not the case. It did actually get picked up by Nova Esports. Managed to use it towards Baron lane. So nice pick up. And I want to tie this all back together, TJ.
Okay.
Nova Esports, they have the 2 tanks.
True.
And the 2 tanks are too tanky now.
I like it. Nova Esports too tanky to be burned down by Tristana. That is going to be true until that third item is completed, which Tristana will blast through them. So I'm still hanging on to that as Furious Gaming are still be dangerous in a team fight. They are so built around Prussia exclusively.
Absolutely.
They haven't made any windows for Prussia.
Remake stepping far forward, pulls Russ attention.
Wasted all. Tidal Wave not up for this fight, and that should be the go signal for Nova. They can do whatever they want now that Tidal Wave is down. They know they can win a fight easily.
Well, they decide that the Baron's more worthwhile, and they strut that one up, send long and easy to get done. While the rest of Nova can shove out the mid-wave. Libra positioning aggressively.
They see that Tidal Wave and they say, okay, well, Furious Gaming aren't going to be able to start a fight now.
You have no flash, Libra. They know your limits as they manage to get out back, pulled in the set, and gets taken down before he can get anything done.
Prussia does find some gold, but here's the punish.
He just eliminates Kappa. Where did his health bar go?
Pressure's on the wrong side of the map.
Isolated alone, but still Remix's been pulled in. The Transcendent Embrace starts to come through. The exhaust over on the Prussia. He might have damage, but not against the 3 from Nova. 100% packing and running towards the base of Nova Esports.
Does he no! Long hunts him down. And that should be the game. Nova find the Baron, find the lead. And as promised, Furious Gaming don't get their 5v5 team fight until it is too late.
Way too thin though, so Nova Esports have effectively won, but not literally.
They'll take their time as they have the whole game, knowing that Furious Gaming just haven't been able to find a team fight into them. They've done such a good job of just retreating whenever the pressure is real, engaging when they know that cooldowns are spent and Nova are out of position, or sorry, Furious Gaming are out of position. And Furious Gaming have never been able to set up a frontline engage for Prussia. If you're going to play a Tristana like this, you need to build space for him to access people like Remake, like Nian in these fights. And instead, he's always stuck at the very max range of the fight, auto-attacking Hize, auto-attacking Yamin. And those are the 2 people who want to be auto-attacked. They like it.
Here's my thing, TJ. I look towards Prussia right now.
Okay.
And we look at I see a composition that's meant to enable. But from Sunder and Kappa, they're building to keep themselves alive. Every man for himself right now. Everyone needs to hold their own against the onslaught from Nova Esports. You don't have time to worry about pressure. It's so difficult to play for the Tristana here.
I mean, so many of these fights we've seen Prussia be the most player on the team. And that's what I'm talking about when I say just the positioning seems to be undoing him. Because it doesn't matter if you need to die to enable him. You need to die to enable Prussia with this team composition.
Unfortunately for them, Libra has gone past the point of effectiveness. He had some strong moments to begin with. Now with Nova Esports scaling up to a powerful point, we see a dominant goal lead.
Here we go. Last stand for Furious Game. The W got some words in here.
Absolutely well said. Final stand as Nova Esports look to chunk them out, escort the waves in.
Do love Remake spending measure for a bomb cooldown. Just every time he throws it in, gets damage, sees what happens.
He should.
Yeah. Keeps forcing Furious Gaming to reset, to lose a couple of waves, that sort of thing. Always worth it.
Quick recall from Remake as the Baron comes up in half a minute.
This from Chinese teams. Why would you take like a risky team fight underneath the Nexus when the Baron is coming up?
Just keep hearing you say you love DC.
I genuinely, like, we were talking about our expectations for the Nova are the 3rd seed out of the WRL. I think they will be in the contention for winning the tournament.
So what we see here from Nova, what if they manage to get away from the Novas?
I think one of our big questions was the presence of Nian in this team. You know, he was sub for Guoko, who is so good as an assassin player. Does Nian add to this roster that he didn't have before? Does he fit in with the team? Yes, to all counts. And I think what he has really demonstrated here is this ability to play a more passive contribution style.
Right.
Let other people be the carries, let other people be the front lines and play this almost Korean poke game.
And they do it so well here as Libra continues to look for an engage here. Flash in from Yeezer, gets locked down over onto the set, but he gets a big shield as the exhaust comes in. He goes golden, buying some time with the Hourglass Transcendent and Embrace off. Out from Furious Gaming, looking for an entry over by the side angle. Angle with a big stun, but no follow-up from the rest of his team. Yami dashes in with the body slam, nearly takes out the Riven, but a flash away will keep him alive. Only the one falling from Furious Gaming.
Good kiting teamfight from Furious Gaming. You can see their mechanics and communication on display, but you can also see that Nova gave them no opportunities. Yuzi played exactly to the limits of his HP bar and cooldowns, soaked up a maximum amount of damage. By stasising so aggressively, he created like a cordon. You could not go past the stasis Renekton because he would come out of the stopwatch and destroy you.
Furious Gaming walking back towards the Baron, but too late. Pick up and over to Nova Esports. This is going to be their second Baron.
Really? You're gonna steal his red buff?
Oh, absolutely.
You're winning by that much, Grandin, and you steal his Krugs.
Oh, absolutely.
His Krugs!
Psychic damage, DJ.
Let the man have a rock collection.
Psychic damage.
Those are
DJ.
geodes.
Well, he stole the red buff as well.
Yeah.
Psychic damage.
I don't know if I can condone that. I feel like, is that allowed?
Echo will feel that. Prussia will feel that going into the next game.
Yeah.
And that's why Long is looking to be one of the best junglers in the competition.
He's capable of dunking
Because
on
he
you.
stole red buff.
Stealing the red buff with this much of a lead, almost 25,000. And here comes Nova to try and wrap this game up. They have the Baron buff. Here we go. Furious, one more chance.
And still displaced heavily here by Yami. His explosive cast makes it difficult. They
Both
reset
inhibs
back
gone.
into base, but all inhibitors gone, like you've mentioned. Super minions crashing in. The package delivered and sent by Nien as they move in onto the Nexus. A first pickup, a second, and the Nexus going down. Game number 1 to Nova Esports.
You know, we talked about at the very beginning, we tried to be fair to Furious Gaming. They are playing versus one of the best teams in the world.
Absolutely.
And I think you can honestly say that was a really solid performance from Furious Gaming.
Right.
There's a lot to be happy with. You should be smiling on stage right now. That is the kind of game that you can go home. Yeah, you lost, but man, your team fights looked good. You understood your game plan. You played around the macro very well. It's just Nova. They're going to take every bit of gold from you. They're going to take your red buff with a 20k lead. They're going to do everything they can to stop you from being able to get the team fights. And if you want to try and turn this around game number 2, that's what Furious need to figure out.
What I'd really like to see was Libra on the set. I feel like that's a very good, proactive player that you have in your midst right now. Someone that was able to make moves to help your team out.
When you're playing set, there's nothing that feels better than seeing a big Renekton and suplexing him into like 5 people. And he did that over and over again. And I think the biggest problem was that Nova are such a good team in kind of regional play, in the matches that Furious Gaming are used to playing. You do that, you cause that much disruption, you run the team fight. The line of scrimmage is now where the set is causing havoc. What you saw time and time again when that engage happened against Nova is they all fall back, they reset, they go, oh, there's a big man here. He's got cat ears. We're going to fight him, we're going to get rid of the set, and then we're going to move back forward. And you never had an opportunity for the backline that was supposed to engage behind him, behind Libra, actually getting traction onto Nova.
Well, I learned something that one of the criteria for attacking the guy is the cat ears.
You do need to be a cat boy in order to beat Nova Esports.
All right, fair enough. Well, we're going to toss it back over to the analyst desk, D-Gun, and the rest to break down game number 1 of the second series here with Nova Esports and Furious Gaming.
Catboy?
TJ?
TJ?
TJ, what?
That's true. That's
Okay.
how you play set.
All right, well, we'll see what happens here. If Furious Gaming will take you up on that. Catboys for the future here. Thanks, TJ. All right, Nova Esports taking the victory there, but it didn't start the way that we thought it would. It was a 4-0 lead here for Furious Gaming before Nova really started turning it on here. As you take a look at the victorious squad. They, though, although we're down in terms of kills, were definitely fine in terms of gold. But let's go back to the draft, like starting there. What jumped out at you? And there was a point you wanted to make in terms of the Corki Ziggs.
This is something that we saw from some of the WRL teams yesterday as well. Corki Ziggs is starting to get relevance, I
Hey, we were having a couple of issues here with Omo's mic. We'll get that one up and running in just a little bit. But Corky Zig, something that we've seen here from the Chinese teams start to come up with priority. Stewart, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, for me, you know, about the draft, I think the Tristana last pick by Prussia was a bit of an interesting one. He has played it before, and he's kind of known as this lone wolf in the mid lane, you know, with the supportive bot side from Karma, from Army. They tried to get pressure ahead. They tried to get a lot of pressure and give a lot to pressure in the end. But, you know, you talk about the early game as well a little bit. The early game was a little bit overextension and everything by Nova, which allowed Furious Games to get a few kills, but then, as you said, you know, for that, Nova were able to get the objectives.
Yeah, this felt like a battle between micro and macro here, where although the scoreboard said 4, almost 5 there, it was 5-0 at the beginning of this skirmish here. You could see the gold lead was very much in the hands of Nova, Omo.
Yeah, that's exactly the price that FG had to pay to get those kills. The play that we keep talking about, Libra's roam, it came at the cost of farm. Every kill after came at the cost of towers, came at the cost of waves, and that's exactly what the Eastern teams do so well. They will make you pay for every kill you want to get.
Yeah, I think with the Libra pick as well, it's his most played pick for the whole year in the Baron lane, and you saw that. He's confident of going in. He'll suplex it when he wants to. Go in. He got the 3-man face break as well in the early game because a little bit of extension by Nova. As I almost said, you know, you're roaming around as a Baron laner, you're using waves, and then they lost that top lane tower. They lost that Baron lane tower, which allowed Nova to have that little bit of an advantage.
Right, both Rift Heralds heading on over to Nova. Iza just farming up, and there was a moment there where I was like, hey, you know what? Maybe if they keep it in a 4v4, it'll be fun. But then we check down to the gold leads in the jungle, and Long, although it died, still had more gold than Echo, who was in those fights, and it was just this ability to find where the gold is, find where the farm is, and almost do the math beforehand, be like, okay, yes, we'll lose someone down on the bottom side of the map, we'll rotate Corky to the bottom side of the map who can wave clear, not lose this tower, and keep them down there. They're not soaking gold in the lanes, they're not farming their jungle camps, and we are, and therefore we're still comfortable despite this kill deficit.
And that's the power of Kha'Zix as well. That's why when you utilize Kha'Zix well, he's such a threatening pick because of what he can do to you in the side lanes. Might not be the best team fighter, but if you give him some space, if you have a Baron laner, if you have a solo laner who has a lead, Kha'Zix just goes there and they just run the show.
And I feel like with the Western teams against China as well, we saw Vivo Keyed yesterday try and go for this passive playstyle against the Chinese team. Today, you know, Furious, they're trying to go for this aggressive, proactive playstyle against, you know, against Nova. But it just doesn't seem that anything works against, you know, these Chinese teams.
Ziggs, baby. What can I say? Ziggs is broken, man.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ziggs always dishing out a ton of damage. You saw there at the end of the clip with Furious Gaming throughout the game. They were popping smiles. They were laughing about it. They were hyped when they were getting the kills, but then, of course, they were, you know, even temperament as that gold chart started to slide down to the opposite side. Yeah, this was a very lopsided win at first, or at the end. But at first, again, keeping it within that 4,000 gold lead area up until 10 minutes, where eventually Nova were like, okay, we're ahead. They're trying to split. Now's the time that we go ahead and have our carries in the position that we want to close it on out here.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with the early game is that, you know, you need to, I think Furious need to kind of play the same as what they did, but try and do more with the kills that they get, because they got the kills in the early game, but they weren't able to get anything really with it. They were losing pressure on the other side of the map. They were losing pressure pretty much all over the map, which means that, you know, Furious, they can get a few kills, but if you can't get enough gold, then that's about it, to be fair.
Yeah, and I think one of the changes that I would love to see from Furious in the next game as well is that jungle pick. You know you're playing against one of the best, if not the best jungler in the world. You're playing a Riven, and the Kha'Zix matchup is extremely difficult. I think you need to try to cut your losses. Try to just all in for your mid laner, all in for pressure. See what he can do. Play some utility. You know you're going to lose farm to make those plays. Play something that doesn't need so much farm.
Right. Earlier we were saying Xin Zhao is something that we've seen Furious Gaming play into the jungle with Echo, but that got banned away. Nova did their research, so you went with the Riven to hopefully make some plays, maybe get a snowball going against the Kha'Zix, but although there were kills happening and it went on to pressure, your jungler wasn't getting kills and then was giving up farm in the jungle and then falling behind.
Yeah, Kha'Zix is just farming up the jungle, just as, you know, do. I think Kha'Zix one of the fastest clearing junglers when it comes to, you know, past that level 5 point pass when you get the evolve. But then you go on to Riven's side. You know, Riven wants to be a little bit more proactive, especially in, you know, a little bit of the early game, which didn't really work out for them. I think it was like 1,000, 2,000 gold behind, and they were still 4 kills ahead. So you have to try and do something to try and shut down Long.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on pressure to make something happen here, but it feels like that's the way that they're going to have to double down on it. Rafa was saying earlier they know him as the lone wolf, so pressure is going to have to make something happen here. Again, a slight change in the jungle maybe to get more supportive to set him on up rather than the Riven, but it feels like Furious Gaming got their best shot at what they wanted, and Nova had an answer here.
I honestly think the draft from Furious was not a bad draft. It was a good draft. It set them up for success.
Yeah.
It played to their strengths. The problem was Nova just really just too good. The moment you have one weak spot in the draft, and that one tiny weak spot was just the Riven, that's it. They exploit it, they play around it, and they just blow the game up.
I keep thinking back to moments because I agree with what you were saying earlier, Stuart. If they get these early team fight wins, you have to transition it into some sort of objective. When I replay the match in my mind, I don't necessarily remember where they could have gotten more out of it, mainly because the Corki went to the bottom side of the map. That was the focus that Furious Gaming had. They said, okay, he's on the top side on the Renekton, is tearing up our towers, so let's head down to the bottom side and get that tower, and then we can start flipping around the map. But Corki was just able to wave clear, use the rockets to clear, to push them back, and Tristana Pressure went down there. I think it lived with about like 400 health, not enough to tank it, and they could never get minions close enough to then take away the armor from the tower.
It's just right place, right time, really, for Nova at the end of the day. You know, being able to realize, you know, when you need to be defensive, when you need to play aggressive as well at the same time, you know, down in that bot lane. I don't think Furious Gaming got a single tower that game as well. I think that was the crazy part about it. One little thing as well was the Corki build was a little bit of interesting. We've been talking about Corki builds, and I was looking at it, it's like, okay, Hullbreaker, Black Cleaver, I hate it, but you know, it is what it is. Divine Sunderer. And I saw like a Solari Charge Blade. I was like, wait, you're not building crit. Where's the Solari Charge Blade come from? Where is it? What is going on? Like, Corki's just a weird one.
I'm
a
honestly
weird one.
not too much of a hater of the Hellbreaker Black Cleaver build path on Corki because I kind of talked about it. It lets you scale up, lets you kind of do what you want to do. It's not the best build, it's not the worst. I'm neutral about it. I do agree with your point about the Charge Blade, but I think at that point in the game, after you finish your 3 items, it's kind of done, right? You can just build whatever you want.
Random moment if you want to. You
I
know,
was
Bissell
like,
Mask,
alright,
why not? Let's go.
Again, whenever you have those champs that build AP and AP, or AP and AD, it's always creative what they're able to pull up here. As Furious Gaming and Nova have returned to the stage for Game 2, we'll have the draft covered here on our AD. And again, Furious Gaming coming back with the smile, seeing what they can learn from it, take from it. Again, getting early momentum, maybe not gold lead, but early momentum, very much like Kwangdong, but then needing to transition into something else and finding out where the moment to have some discipline to either be more aggressive or step back. And I think in that case, it's all right, we got the roam from set, we got the 2 kills. What can this turn into here? And hopefully that's a learning lesson that Furious Gaming are able to put into practice as we get into game number 2. Again, trying to make that comeback here. The first 5 to 8 minutes here looking good until everyone realized, oh, the gold lead is still getting worse and worse because Nova's just playing the map a little bit better. They're getting these Rift Heralds. They did not have an entrance in. Maybe it's a fight at Rift Herald when it's just a 2k differential, but Furious need to identify that first to take the next step against Nova Esports.
I mean, there are a lot of things to be happy about if you're Furious Gaming. Like you said, the momentum in the early stages was not bad at all. But like you said as well, I think it's a good point. We need to look out for when the timings are that we can take big team fights. We can just all in. At the same time, though, I feel like that's so difficult to do against Nova. I completely get the mentality. We need to find an angle to fight. But Nova is so good at the push and pull. And the one play that just really exemplified that was how they just danced the Baron with the Kha'Zix, with the Renekton, with the rest of the members just dipping in and out of fog.
All right, here we go. Draft for game number 2 underway. Furious Gaming of WOL, the LATAM region, trying to find some victory against Nova Esports from the WRL.
So in the first draft, Furious Gaming focused on that Karma. I think to get pressure on the the AD carry in the mid lane, they went for like a double supportive style in the bot lane. Pressure's got such a wide champion pool. He can honestly play anything, and he'll probably try and play anything as well. You know, Tristana in the first game, I think it's the first time we've seen it a lot. But again, you know, the Xinjiao ban again. I mean, Nova have done their homework. I think Echo is, his most played champion. I think LATAM as a region really loves Xinjiao because of the team fights. What Xinjiao can offer during the team fights as well, which is really where LATAM can come online. But the Kha'Zix ban, that's the big adaptation there for Furious Gaming.
Yeah, just get rid of it. Can't blame them at all. That champion is just so broken in the hands of the good teams, the WRL teams especially. And Yumi Bandits makes a lot of sense. But Jace is open right now. I'm curious as if Furious will want to go pick that up themselves.
Yeah, Jace was the sacrifice made here for the Kha'Zix ban. Who else in the jungle can Furious go with if the Xin Zhao is gone and wants to be facilitated? Set gets taken away too from Libra, and we saw Libra being efficient.
This Lucian is open and also Jace is open, so I feel like it's going to be one or two. Obviously, Karma is still open, but I feel like you have to take either the Jace or the Lucian. Maybe it could be something that Pusher could play in the mid lane. I think it's going to be a big priority pick for him, but you can't take the Karma in a situation. I think it's too much of a risk. They go for the Jace.
I like this one, but I also like the fact that Lucian is still up, so we might finally get to see a WRL team play the Lucian, because I personally like that matchup into the Jace. There we go. I would love to see this flex follow the Jace pick.
I love that. Follow the Jace because Jace can go multiple.
There we go.
areas,
Now it's
so
going to
there
follow
it
the
is.
Jace.
So now you've got Lucian, Ziggs. Ziggs, the damage master, leading the way in that last game, just always tossing the bombs. What is the answer here for Furious Gaming?
I think it'd be interesting to see how Neon does in that matchup in the mid lane, because in the previous game, you know, it was his first game really with Nova coming in as a sub, and had a pretty decent performance on that Corki in the first game, and that's some sort of aggression. That's crazy aggression.
Well, this is something that we did see yesterday in the RRQ matchup, where they played the Zed counter pick. They played the Zed to really just counter the Lucian in the side lanes as the game goes on. But the thing now is, I would love to see if Nova can flex this Lucian pick to the top lane to follow the Jace and pick up something else in the mid lane. I want to see the depths of their diversity here.
That's what I figured. Galio get locked on it. It's like, all right, you know what? You wanted to go ahead and pick some beef with your assassins. We can pick some beef too. Maybe more like chicken, but that's
Galio has the ultimate as well, so you know, if Zed or Alistar jumps in, you could just use the Galio ultimate, use the Grand Entrance, and it kind of works as like a defense circle around you, so you can play a little bit safer. But I think with like a Ziggs and a Lucian, these are two very like well, Ziggs is very immobile, and Lucian doesn't really have that much range, so it allows Alistar and Zed to kind of jump on top of them as well at the same time.
They have to ban the Camille here, I think, on the side of Furious. You just get blown up on side lanes if Camille Galio is open against Zed Jace. I'm not sure what other options they have for the jungle pick, because Jarvan is starting to look like a worse and worse option. I don't know what else Echo can pull out here that isn't a direct challenge towards Long.
all right. Riven and Morgana, our first two bans here, as Nova set to make another ban. Again, they could go with the jungle pool here.
Oh my, wait, this might be an Iza Akali angle. That would be really cool as well. That's one of his highest win rate champions in the WRL. I don't think he's lost many games in that one, and it's a pretty good matchup into the Jace as well.
I think the nice thing that Nova are doing as well is they're banning out the AP champions in the second ban phase. You already have the Jace, you already have the Zed, you need some source of AP damage on the side of Furious, but where does it come from? You know, Morgana's banned, Karma's banned, Ziggs is already picked, which is a most played champion for Remake as well in that duo lane, so we're most likely going to be seeing Lucian either in the mid lane or even in the top lane as well.
I don't like these bans. I'm going to be very real with you here. If you have Jace top, why are you banning away Renekton? You need to be banning Akali, you need to be banning Camille. Okay, well, they're just going to go with the Garen. Okay. What do I know?
Spin to win. Spin to win, baby.
Yeah, just a power, right? You can't really go wrong with that. You just tank the Jace. It's a sword versus shield matchup, and they're issuing a challenge because Jace is a champion that you need to get leads on. They're saying if you don't get a lead, Garen's just gonna settle up, be a beef boy, and it's really nothing you can do.
All right, final turn here by Furious Gaming. They go with the Oriana, so there is some of your AP you were talking about earlier. Still waiting on one more here, specifically in the jungle.
I think
I can't have a good pick right now. Thanks to it. Anything for the jungle?
I mean, could it even be like maybe can flex as a Jace to the jungle? We have seen it before. I mean, it's very unlikely, but a jungle pick, you know, you
a rank angle here actually could be good. I don't know if they play it.
Down Jax. All right, so Jax, the ticking time bomb that can just be farming on up, and you know. Thing that Furious here in these specific picks, they picked Alistar very fast back to back. They took the whole time here with the Oriana and Jax on both these picks, and now Nova get to sit back and have the pick of the litter.
The interesting part now about Furious Gaming is that they have quite a lot of late game. They have the Jax for the late game, the Oriana for the late game. I feel like they can't really be as aggressive as what they did in game number one, because if you play as aggressive against Alicia, against Galio, Fiora as well in the jungle, you just do win the early game fight. So I think this game is definitely going to look towards the mid and late game.
A lot of pressure going to be on the Jace to see what Libra can do in the early stages. Not going to be helping his team this time around. Going to be wanting to play for himself. On the other side, Envy got a lot of scaling options as well. The wave clear, the range, the dive. both team comps looking very solid to me.
If you're Furious Gaming, you're striking mid to late game. What do you think of them?
Well, mid to late game, it's really all about how you side lane with the Zed and with the Jax. It's going to require a lot of finesse, and then we have the Galio out to swing, to turn the tables as well. So I'm not really liking their chances on that.
All right, well, to find out how they're going to finesse it, let's send it to our finesse masters. It's Big G and Tall T. That's TJ, just in case you didn't know. Take it away, guys.
Thanks, D-Gon. We got Tall T out here looking and watching out for game number 2 between Nova as well as Furious Gaming.
Well, I think one of the things that we were talking about on the desk, we were talking about how Furious need to activate in the mid-late game.
Right.
And I'm really nervous about that because I don't believe with what we saw during game number 1, they can get to a mid-late game position with enough gold on their carries to activate.
So we see like the second phase from Furious Gaming now. Right, like this, like they went into last game, we had some good moments, but we had some concerns as well.
Yeah. I mean, the big thing for Furious Gaming is this is a composition that needs to get out of the early game. Oh, no. Oh, my God.
Oh, my goodness. What's going on? Furious Gaming running down Nova in the mid lane, but somehow Nova walk out.
That could have been it. That could have been it, Grandon. All that I'm talking about Furious Gaming needing some kind of early gold, they walk into the early gold. And I do not know how, but they do not find those kills.
How can this happen, TJ?
I literally think somebody wasn't auto-attacking. That was, like, weird. They should have had those kills.
There were 5 from Furious moving into that brush.
I want a replay of it. It's kind of tragic. Furious Gaming don't get those kills, and so here's what I'm worried about. They have all these late game characters. You're talking about Jace, you're talking about Jax, you're talking about Zed, you're talking about Orianna. Literally their whole team. And all those carries depend on having a certain amount of gold, otherwise they will flat lose. And I don't know how they get to that point of the game where they have that amount of gold, typically second or third item, depending on which character we're talking about, without being several thousand gold behind Nova. Because as we have seen already in game number 1, the thing Nova does is blow out the map when it's in an even state.
Absolutely, and I have to say the ways they get there are honestly just so interesting. The fact that they have this Garen now, being able to run them down, put pressure in a bad spot, pressure with no summoners. You see what happens here against the Garen.
Yeah, this is the WRL special.
Garen mid,
Garen mid,
Garen mid, Garen support,
Garen everywhere,
Garen
but also
everywhere.
Garen into Zed. They
Yes.
go, okay, it's a Zed, that's really scary if we're lightweight. What if we were heavyweight?
That is so true. It's actually one of the biggest pickups against the Zed.
Yep. So it'll be played in the mid lane against Pressure. And as you can see, Pressure, especially during these early levels, just can't do anything about it. There's just no way for him to get any kind of traction.
Well, look at what happens here. Issa being able to put him down low. Pressure still looking for his level 4, finally finds it, but he's going to have to recall as that happens as well. Nova with a coordinated effort to recall right now as well.
Yep. Oh, stop him.
Yeah! And why this is impactful, because Issa is going to be able to clear the wave, shove it in.
Yeah, that's like 20 gold right there.
Make Pressure lose some gold, and more importantly, EXP.
Because this turret's going to kill those minions. This is a fundamental of playing competitive Wild Rift. That turret killed those minions. And so Pressure just got less gold.
And we need to see Pressure get ahead.
And I want to flag something else here as well, which is psychic damage.
I told you, TJ, Long imposed psychic damage. He put out psychic damage in the last game.
Can we get a psychic damage meter?
That damage dealt chart for psychic damage.
I want a line graph.
And if you're wondering what psychic damage is, it's damage done to your psyche.
And it's from 1 to 9,000.
I feel like that's a joke that you're trying to make here, TJ.
It's over 9,000!
I know what the joke you're trying to make here, TJ, but I'm sorry. It's not happening here. Long moves up to the top, jumping over onto Libra Nien in a precarious position. Flashes in aggressively, tops up for the grand challenge from Long, but he was this close to dying.
And slides to the other side of it and just delivers his piercing light, finds an easy pick. Here's Pressure rotating up, but what are you going to do with Galio in this lane?
We saw for a moment that he's chasing after Pressure, but the signs in the end it's not something worthwhile. They're not going to fight for that. And Remake somehow single-handedly holding 2 players at bay.
This is what Ziggs does. This is why even after the Ziggs nerfs, you play Ziggs in lane. Because you can just put him in a side lane while the support roams the map, while Yami plays in the top lane and helps Nian win his lane. Yami's all the way up here, Remake's doing just fine.
And of course we build up so much with the WRL, but we need to see Furious Gaming step up as well. We want to see good performances for them moving into their futures matches as well.
Yeah, Furious Gaming, I think, have already shown a pretty good performance, I think, all things considered. Their initial showing against Nova Esports, they demonstrated that they have tremendous mechanical skill on this team. They've demonstrated that they understand how to play through pressure. I think the metrics to improve on for Furious Gaming are, I want to see a little bit more understanding of how to get gold on the map and better play. They're playing against, like, the best team in the world at that. So,
yeah,
there's no shame in struggling to maintain a gold lead against Nova Esports.
And we think about the context of the competition as it stands right now, this double elimination format, Furious Gaming,
They'll have another shot.
They'll have another shot. They will be on a high tension situation as Tenacity is busted, TJ. You cannot tell me otherwise.
Long coming in on the side.
Willing to make a play despite now we see the counter-strike come through. Long still looking to chase after, get a little bit more damage on the exit. Yami joining in with the heroic entrance.
You know, game number 1, Nova Esports just kind of game grounded. They were like, we'll win the late game. Don't worry about it. This time round, there's a little bit of frisk in their step. You see that?
I'll tell you what, TJ.
Uh-huh.
The WRL teams, they're done waiting around. Now they want to dictate the pace of the game.
Yami in a little bit of trouble as Furious Gaming start this Ocean Drake. It'll reset. Nova have plenty of time to get in here.
My goodness, look at what happens here from Furious Gaming. They managed to finally execute over onto Yami with the execution damage out from Prussia, but one more on attack necessary to get that done. Jumps back to the shadow and will run away with the kill.
Wow! That was really played by Prussia.
Absolutely.
The thing that really impressed me was at the very end of that combo, he takes a step back, slides out of the defensive taunt from Yami, punishes him afterwards, knows exactly how long he can do that and still shift back to Shadow. Really, really remarkably good Zed play.
Dragging over to Nova, but Rift Town over the Furious Gaming.
Ooh. An even trade to open things up, and a little bit more than an even trade for Furious Gaming because they did get the kill. Unfortunately, of course, they are behind in gold.
There is that first turret as well towards the top side. Something that Nien has been working towards.
Yeah, Nova Esports will answer on the opposite side of the map, though. And you can see them shoving in the mid lane as well, which means that, yet again, the net gold gain goes to Nova. Oh, he's all alone.
To his own devices, but he's gets to walk away.
Who is that? Is that Long just getting out of lane?
Man needs to pick up his Divine Sunderer.
Yeah, but your buddy's being jumped on.
Waiting for him, TJ. He's got to go back to base.
Your buddy's being jumped on. And he's like, hey,
but Divine Sunderer,
I've got
TJ.
items to build up. You know what? Now that you point out to Divine Sunderer, I get it.
Exactly. You see where I'm coming from, right?
I don't think Jesus sees where this is coming from.
3 towards the top, and Long is nearby this time around, and it does look like he will be committed to making a difference now. But a good amount of damage on the Garen in a bit spot of
He's
trouble.
not that big.
Long will be in here to try and make it outplay. Starts to move in over onto the Jax. Pops the repost a little bit too early, though the counter-strike will not be able to come across now. Trying to execute over by the back. Sauter coming in with the flank from the river. Hits the ultimate, the shockwave onto Remake. But the flank continues in the mid lane instead. It's the culling onto Libra.
Some really...
They're still going. Down, but the rest of his team comes in. And chase after the Lucian, but Yen gets out.
Some really good mechanics from Echo in that fight. Yet again, proving what we've been saying all game, all series, all tournament. Cannot count out these LATAM teams in just raw team fights, in just raw mechanics. Furious Gaming demonstrating they can go toe-to-toe in this fight.
Really solid team fighting.
And you know, Prussia actually used to play a different mobile esport cast, where he was one of the kind of he was on one of the middle of the pack teams in LATAM called Assassin's Crew, and he played under the tag Fran. So if anyone in the audience recognizes that. And his whole thing there was he was going to go as hard and as aggressive as possible on these like various very passive mid lane mages. There wasn't really an equivalent to Zed in that game. And so I'm so happy to see him now on Zed, a character he's clearly always dreamed of playing. And doing much better now that he's got a team kind of built around him.
And he looks like a fish in water, you know, performing well here, putting out damage.
There's another one.
You see how he picks up the kill there? Solid combo with the rest of his team.
And you see the team letting him get that kill. Doubly important. This is a team built by Prussia, around Prussia. When he's about to finish a kill, everyone backs away, makes sure he gets the final hit.
Rift Herald used in the mid lane. Nova Esports looking for a re-entry angle, but a little bit difficult without hard crowd control.
I don't know if it gets a charge.
They need the Galio
Wow.
in here. Denies the Rift Herald in the mid lane.
Nova Esports rotating very aggressively and spending cooldowns. You see them spending cooldowns, taking damage in order to step forward there so that they have control of the summoning point of the Rift. This is a mistake that you see a lot of times teams play Asian rosters for the very first time. If you're coming out from the West, you're used to being able to summon the Rift Herald. It's basically guaranteed to get a hit. A team like Nova will burn it down every time if you do not defend its summon.
Absolutely.
You have to have control. Furious Gaming, pretty sure it'll get a charge, and then 5 players come out of the bush, instantly rotating in, making sure they have control, spending cooldowns to do so, and burning down the Rift Herald.
They had the spells to get it done, but not willing to commit for the Rift Herald to get its charge. That being said, though, second Rift Herald coming its way pretty soon.
Furious Gaming having another swing at things with full control of the Rift Herald as we speak, full control of this major objective in the early game. And the Dragon's a little staggered. I don't know if you noticed that. It's a couple steps behind. So we're going to get a fight over this Rift Herald.
Start to move in. Libra this time around on the bottom side of the map is looking to pick up the first chart for Furious Gaming here.
Pressure's kind of vibing. Oh,
Not
that
too
didn't
much to
do very much damage.
Not too much.
I really thought there was something I didn't understand about how much damage he was going to be able to do there, but no. Here's the Rift Herald.
It's for the psychic damage. And seems to be the same case here. Furious Gaming want to try and take down the Rift Herald before he can come through. That's going to be the shockwave, but still Nova Esports deliver the Rift Herald to the turret in time.
And the difference there, you can see how Nova spend, for instance, the Mega Inferno Bomb to zone, the way they defend on the front side of it.
Nice little pickup here over on the Pressure. Living Shadow will get him away, but Yan chases after Relentless Pursuit. One more auto attack, gets it done. Going, he gets time for Yan to jump in. And that gets Nova Esports the kill and to get out.
And Neon understands the assignment, says this entire game revolves around Pressure. He has made a mistake. Not only do I know that, but I'm going to dedicate all of my cooldowns to punishing this. Dashing aggressively, spending the Relentless Pursuit to dash over the wall and threaten the Living Shadow shift back. Punish that kill. Very, very well played. The complete understanding of how to get out of there safely as well.
He's walking nearby. We see the rest of his team now in position to support this. Remake does not have any crowd control, so it's difficult to hold Echo in place.
Yeah, kind of ridiculous that he gets away with that, but there you go. Jax.
Jax thinks against a team without hard crowd control.
Yeah,
That is a solid strategy.
it's Galio, but Jax.
Sure.
Libra.
Interesting position here. Remake uses his flash. I think he actually flashed the wrong side.
They're burning the Dragon. Furious Gaming already started the Drake.
You have to see it as Nien is up to the top side. He's not going to be able to join the fight. Nova don't want to commit for it, not for a Cloud Drake at least.
So Cloud Drake over to Furious Gaming, no fight. I think good call by Nova. They kind of was positioning there, and Furious Gaming were absolutely willing to fight. So they kind of did the, oh, all right, buddy. All right, you can have the Cloud Drake. I didn't even want the Cloud Drake anyway.
Yeah. But I do want the Infernal Drake.
Absolutely.
And the Elder Infernal Drake especially.
And that is what is going to be on the docket next.
And while we did see some early aggressive moves from Nova Esports, it's still only a 5-kill game.
And remember, we were talking about Furious Gaming as a team wanted to the mid-late game with a decent amount of goals under the belt. We're near the 15-minute mark, which is where I kind of defined the mid-late game. And they're only 3,000 behind, 4,000 goal behind. That is not bad. That is better than we expected for Furious Gaming. They are going to have a swing, you know? They're going to have an bat here.
Frankly, at a 3-4,000 gold lead, you could still win a lot of fights given good position, and this might be it. As not starting to chase after Remake, unfortunately that means they do get isolated. Kapasiba gets too far forward, caught out of position. Libra going down, and you had to say it, TJ. Look what happened.
Yeah, I jinxed it. That was a very unfortunate team fight. And Prusher trying to fish something out because he knows that might be their game that just ended right there. That was their at-bat. That was their swing for a perfect team fight. And Remake baits them perfectly. Excellent movement, satchel charges away from the action. And the rest of his team collapses to back him up. You have to know for Nova that that vital pick isn't left alone.
losing patience and trying to force an engage a little too early now. Nova Esports a little divided between the Baron as well as Prusher. Need to finish one or the other. Remake goes down for now, and Nova Esports forced to back away from the Baron. Furious Gaming with the defense.
Yet again, incredible mechanics on that Zed from Prusher. He is dancing all over the fight, forces the stasis out from Remake. Oh.
Redemption coming in, auto attack to secure the kill. And eats it with a flash over the wall.
He
Echo,
almost
no
made it.
Kill.
That living shadow right at the edge of the Redemption. He would have made it.
He would have.
Very narrowly not able to get out in time. Kapitsuba just a few steps away from getting the CC that would have saved him. Just really good play by Prusher. And it does continue to keep Furious Gaming in this game. The other thing that needs to happen at this point is they need to get fights where Sarthar and Libra are able to get sustained damage out.
And one of the things I want to highlight as well, it's not just the mechanical ability to play the champion, to play the Zed, but it's also this ability to understand.
It's the cerebral ability.
Yes, how to get into a fight, where the angles to try and flank from.
I mean, that fight where he full combos onto Remake forces all of Remake's cooldowns, including the stasis, and then it's okay, I'm a dip over the wall, and Echo can finish this kill, and I know Echo can get back out as well.
Yes.
Like, just really good team play by Furious Gaming. This is the thing that WL team is so good at, and it's not like there's like a stereotype of, oh, you know, they're just really good at mechanically, and that means that they don't have the same like brain game or understanding tactics. No, team fights are tactics. Team fights are 1,000 decisions a second.
Just like micro mechanics, right, TJ? He's in a good spot here. Take down Prusher. Unfortunately, 2 tanks to deal with. A critical point with this Garen Nova Esports take down the mid lane of Furious Gaming.
I would say one decision could stop making is setting the Garen.
Flash forward from Yami, committed for the fight onto Sata, but unfortunately they won't be able to get that done down towards the bottom end. Libra is also dealing with the end. Long looking for a fight zone as well. Kapasiba, unfortunately, won't be able to lock anyone down for long enough.
I'm just really impressed by a lot of the mechanics. Okay.
You know what happens here. Niencio has his flash over the other side, looking for the piercing light. Relentless pursuit away, but still, Libra with the kill.
A lot of these individual fights are just clean on both sides.
Held onto his flash too. He knew he had it. Oh, look at what happens here in the
Shockwave.
mid lane. Isa is so very tanky. He's still alive.
Burning.
Undercharge
Burning.
picks up with
He
the
lives.
honey fruit and heals up through the ignite. Oh my goodness.
Isa is immortal at this point. This is peak Garen gaming.
He is immortal.
Yeah.
My goodness.
He was burning for such a long time, and just the natural Garen regen helping him out there, I think.
I mean, what happens here at this point, honestly?
Well, I talk a lot about scaling for tanks, right? And we obviously always talk about damage scaling, but HP scaling is a very real thing in this game. If you're a tank and you get meaningfully ahead, it becomes just almost impossible to kill you.
Nice pick up over on the Echo. Silence means he doesn't get to use Counter-Strike, cannot jump away.
And so it's so hard to get past Yami, it's so hard to get past Isa in these fights.
Elder Inferno Drake now started up here by Long, starting to force Furious Gaming to move into the pit.
Prusher needs a side angle, needs to access Remake or Neon. Those are the 2 kills he can get.
If you can take one of them down, you have a chance in these fights, but it's going to be difficult, especially the front line that they have. The Mega Inferno Bomb starts to chunk out Echo. The smite is so far away. Prusher starts to walk into the pit, but he gets exhausted, goes to the back end, but he moves in onto Itza. Itza will have to flash back into the pit, but Prusher still lives. Unfortunately for that, Nova Esports do as well. They pick up, they go back into the pit and are looking to finish off the Dragon, but it's difficult to do so. They do not want to commit. Sata chases after. Have you seen in Oriana this aggressive, TJ?
Not when they're this good. Incredible play by Furious Gaming. Really well, like right on the edge of their mechanics in that team fight. Using such good team play to stop the very intelligent punishes from Nova Esports. For instance, Isa flashing over the wall to chase Prusher after he expends all his cooldowns, standing on him spinning. How does he get out of that? Well, his team backs him up, saves him from the instant kill, gets Prusher out, and then does enough damage over the wall that the rest of Nova Esports have to reset on this Infernal Drake. Now, however, it's time for round 2, and they're all on vision. That ward in the Pixel Brush, spotting them out.
A clear reset and re-entry into this fight.
So here we go, 5v5, very likely for the game.
Long a little further away, but he's picked up the blue buff, so never gonna worry about running out of mana.
Furious Gaming starting to get loud on the stage, looking for a pick.
Is going to be first contact. Jumps in. Yami with a big turn
Dude,
over to the back.
sure.
You have to worry about this. Prussia jumps away, but he's still going to go down. But he picks up a heal in time, so he gets out for now. Still chasing after Echo into the back line. He's going to be able to take them down low. Nyan nearly survives, but goes down by Libra. And Furious Gaming will take 3 down to San Nova Esports.
They had a late game composition, and Nova, I think, have waited too long. They let Furious Gaming get to a late game 5v5, and they just paid the price.
Teleports back in. Prussia's on the Dragon as a Coca-Cola pop-off.
Check this out. One of the coolest team fights I've ever seen. And it comes for the WOL. A massive engage, but the backline is where the story is. Pressure, deep, draws focus, pulls Neon and the rest of the team away from the fight. All that damage is missing. And Echo knows that that is the entire thing that's winning the fight. He follows through. Yet again, it's the tag team. Pressure in, forces Neon to pay attention to him, not do damage in the fight. Echo follows up, gets the kill. There are no cooldowns. Furious Gaming, Grandin, are in this game against Nova Esports.
Pressure in, pressure out. Furious Gaming dancing on the edge. 2 dragons over their way. Cloud Drake and Elder Inferno now. Furious Gaming positioning around the Baron.
And whatever you see at the top of your screen, this game is dead. Even the Elder Infernal Drake making up for the missing gold.
And now, not looking as even. Pressure fully online. Moves on to Nyan, executes it
Huge
through
pick.
the shield. Yami cannot
They can do
block
Baron.
the Zed.
They could do Baron off of that. Furious Gaming, do they dare?
Stepping forward, Sata with a big shockwave, but no follow-up for the team.
Sarthar just wants space. He does so much damage in these team fights if he's given an opportunity.
Clearing out wave. What happens here? Echo walks in with the counter-strike to try and pick up the repulse in time. Along loses so much health so quickly. Furious Gaming pick up another in the top side.
Sarthar rushing up, was focused down briefly by Isa, but Long, Neon both gone. They could absolutely do power, and I desperately want Furious to turn onto it. They have 42 seconds before the enemy jungler respawns, and they are kind of wasting this window.
Watch as Isa tries to clear out the wave. He wants to prevent Furious Gaming from being able to end things through the mid lane, clear out the waves, stop the push.
Okay.
Furious Gaming, they go for the reset in this
30
time.
seconds on the respawn of the enemy jungler, and Furious Gaming are taking their time. They're clearing out their own jungle. I do think that is a mistake. They have missed a window to do Baron here. They'll have to earn it again. So far, so good. They've done an incredible job in these team fights, in these picks. They're taking Nova toe-to-toe. Here we go.
I'll tell you what, TJ, Furious Gaming at this point have not only cleared up the game, they pulled ahead in gold and with the other dragon buff.
Yeah. Remake.
loses so much health. Look at that combo.
He's dead.
Living Shadow with the shurikens. Takes down the Ziggs again.
Perfectly timed around his stasis. And just silly mistakes coming out from Nova. I think this is a little bit of tilt on stage. There's no reason for Remake to miss his stasis like that. There's no reason for Remake to be that far forward in the fight. Earlier, we saw Long separated from the team in the top lane. You were talking about psychic damage. Furious Gaming doing a little of every kind of damage right now. And they're doing it to Nova Esports, one of the best teams in the world.
Absolutely. Watch as they take down Yami. Long trying to dance back in. But this Fiora cannot team
This
fight.
is Baron. Surely. With
With two
Yami
gone.
dead, with Remake dead, with so much space cleared, they'll go for it. If Long wants to stay in this game, he needs to steal. Kapasiba, the all-star support, doing such a good job zoning here. Long, can he get
down to
in?
4,000. The Baron's going down quickly here, TJ. He has to repulse, so he's still getting close to the pit. He has to try to jump in.
They're
They steal
still
away the
dead!
Baron. Nova Esports taken away from Furious Gaming, but Long's still in the pit. He doesn't have a way out. Not without the rest of his team. He still goes down, but he takes the Baron away.
What a steal from Long! His team needed that to stay in this game, and he delivers against the odds. It was perfectly played by Kapasiba. He read the repost, denied the opportunity to deny the invulnerability, and Long still got past him, still got over the wall, still found the steal.
And it's now Nova Esports' turn. They have the Baron buff, and they need to make good use of this.
A second Coca-Cola pop-off. Look at this. Kapasiba plays it perfectly. Long doesn't care. That is milliseconds. That is the only window by which he could have gotten that steal, and he does it, Grandin.
The accuracy out from long to pick up the Baron here.
That's the best jungler in China, I think.
Respawning soon as well. Remake in a tough spot. As Pressure will also use the stasis. A beautiful knockback, pulling him back in, but he trade back with the Pressure. Zed going down now. Yami chasing soon after as well. Echo by the flanks. Nova Esports cannot pursue too aggressively.
Nova on the back foot after these fights. They need to be perfect to win now. Furious Gaming have a massive advantage, but by no means is this game over either way. It's going to come down to these team fights. There's nothing else on the map to fight for.
Bringing the wave in through mid. Issa as that front
4v4, pressure down. This is a good window for Nova.
Makes damage, but strong wave clear from Furious Gaming.
Yeah.
We start to see Sartre really come online here.
Late game Orianna, this is the danger that the desk was talking about in his composition. You get to the late game and that Lucian of Neon suddenly not looking as deadly. On the opposite side, Pressure, Echo, Libra, Sartre, the whole team. Very, very scary in this late game.
So much to be done across the map right now. Nova Esports need to reset the waves, start to prepare things. Furious Gaming as well. You start to see for the primary carries, nearly full builds completed.
Sartre stepping forward here as bait for the rest of Furious Gaming. They're hoping Yeezit will chase.
Next fights could be the last fights here. Prussia manages to dodge into the back line. Nearly takes down Remake, but he has fighting a good amount of damage. Siva pops the ultimate. No pursuit from Nova.
Mega Inferno Bomb, the culling, heroic entrance, all spent. Lots of major cooldowns down for Nova. Furious Gaming have a beat here, but they don't feel comfortable using it. They're going to play a little bit further back, catch those waves, keep themselves in this game.
And Remake playing a separate game. How not to die to Prussia at this point.
Yeah, and let me tell you, it is hard. It's a difficult game.
Absolutely.
It's like a rhythm game more than anything else, kind of DDR-like.
I see that. Point being, it is incredibly precise, so fast-paced. And the moment you see Pressure in that backline taking down Remake.
And so is how well Furious Gaming are doing to create those positions. They're all on a war right now, but that's all. They're doing so much of a good job to create those positions. Like in that last play where I talked about as it was happening, they pulled Nova forward, baited them forward with the juice of Orianna, said, hey, you want to attack this Orianna? Boom, Pressure's in your backlines. You stepped forward, your front line chased the Orianna, Pressure was in a bush, sneaks around the backside. And I get the distinct impression Nova Esports were not ready for a Furious Gaming who would pull that kind of thing on them.
I mean, frankly, Furious Gaming giving us a game way beyond our expectations.
Yeah, this is incredible from Furious Gaming. This is a huge, huge statement for the WOL, for LATAM Esports. This is a massive win, regardless of the outcome of the game. Furious Gaming might still win it. They need one more good team fight. Baron is back up. It will seal the deal either way. Death timers are long enough. You only need one good fight.
Second Baron of the game up. See Furious Gaming establishing control first. Pressure around the corner. Trying to walk in. Look at the damage.
Look how Nova are grouping around Remake and Dion at this point. Dion has built GA as well, so when he dies, he will respawn back into the fight. Nova building around their carries, recognizing they need to keep them safe. Look at how many GAs there are built entirely to counter Pressure. For Pressure, it's about burning through all those stopwatches, all those GAs, picking off isolated targets in the backline, building time and space for Sartre to do a ton of damage in the backlines of the fight.
Nova does not have vision within the pit.
No.
So they're going to have to use some primitive methods to get the vision.
What's a primitive method of getting vision, Grandin?
You stab the Baron pit with your sword.
That's
like
pretty,
Monk.
you know what? That's pretty primitive. I'm with you.
Exactly.
That's a Garen.
Immediate flash though.
Yeah. I mean, Capo Siba lands the knock-up. That's very scary. He stays ahead of that, though, so not really any danger to him.
In fact, it feels like a game where Furious Gaming are still in the lead. In charge, rather.
Yeah. Look at how Nova are approaching this, right? They have Yami, they have Yiza kind of building this border, this barrier. That was a Mega Inferno Bomb just for vision, just to see what was there.
Pressure wants to chase after.
Playing so safe. Libra, that's huge in the bottom lane.
A very important situation happening in the bottom side, but a fight breaking out in the mid lane as well. Pressure looking to try and deal some damage.
Libra
starts to walk away, but chased after by Nian. But this is the Baron call for Furious Gaming. Watch as they go in onto the pit. The redemption coming through. Gives them vision, but Itza too late. Remake too late. Yami too late.
Echo gets
and
it.
Baron goes over to Furious Gaming. The teleports come in, but Furious get to reset.
4v5 on the map, but they do get the Baron. What a good call from Furious Gaming, recognizing that 2-3 players were shifting out to the bottom side of the map to punish Libra, and so they respond. They say, we have an advantage on this Baron pit, and we will get it.
Here you have Prussia, here you have Yizu, trading back both teams in a tough spot now. Flash away from
They're
Prussia,
coming for him.
And they're chasing after. Slowed here, but he has the Living Shadow, starts to dash away, going to go to the Hourglass.
They're so far away, he has no teammates.
The
out
rest
of the
his
GA.
team, very far away. The closest member is going to be Captain Seaby. He starts to dash in, but the Living Shadow gets him out.
He gets out!
Captain Seaby is in time to save him.
Capo Seaman gets him out. Prussia gets his own self out. And all the while, the side lane turret gets burned down by Echo. TP now off of this.
Culling cannot clear the full wave. Echo starts to walk in. They're under the turret soon. Prussia dashes in onto the Lucian. Has enough damage to finish off the kill.
Stasis burned.
But a stasis comes through, but Prussia has nothing left. He is a vulnerable target, but no one can touch him.
Granted, we've watched 30 minutes of Wild Rift.
30 minutes! And Furious Gaming are the closest team now to taking down a WRL region team.
They would be the first team to do it. The first team to take a game off of China on the international stage.
Making a statement piece in their debut matches on the international stage in Icons. Look at that.
They're in the lead now. Here comes the pressure with Baron for the game end.
Oh my goodness! Tags it up with a shockwave. Remake is gone.
And Remake
as well. Goes fighting a fight with Long.
Remake is so much in the wave clear. Pressure hunting up top.
He knows he can get this kill. Long trying to clear out the wave, trying to stall for some time, buy time for the rest of his team. But it's not going to be enough. As Furious Gaming set to walk in.
I think they've done it,
to the top side, TJ.
I think they've done it, granted. Here comes Furious Gaming.
Start to run into the base. The shockwave comes in. Nyen's so very low, but he needs to take down Sata. Sata buys time, and Guardian Angel comes through for Nyen. And you have the top side fighting their own battle. Libra coming in. Yami chased down. Pressure going in. And this is Furious Gaming.
Nova Esports taken down by Furious Gaming in game number 2 of this best of 3.
What a statement here, TJ. I just want to say, he got in that situation, and that's just entirely wrong. That would be
I don't know.
way to start day 2.
I don't know if it's getting picked up on the microphones. I hope we have some footage of it. The entire time that those two teams are playing, we hear Furious Gaming yelling, shouting on stage. As that game nears its ending, it is deathly silent in this arena. There is not a word being spoken until right then, when the Nexus was in reach, when Furious Gaming knew they had done it, and that was the loudest any team has gotten so far.
100,000 gold, TJ. Over 100,000 gold.
Advantage over Nova Esports, the second best team from the strongest region in the world.
Well, what an amazing game out from Furious Gaming. We'll have to see if they can repeat that one. Degon, guys, what's going on here? How have Furious Gaming picked up this win? I need to know some answers. Come on, guys, what's going on?
Yeah, great on you guys for getting us to our first game past 30 minutes. And we've been waiting for a fiesta to happen. We've been waiting for an upset to happen. I think we can say the biggest upset in Wild Rift history right here, as LATAM get their second international win. Ebro got the first win last year over Sengoku Gaming, and this was not where we thought it would happen. Honestly, I don't know where we thought it would happen, but here it is. Nova Esports again playing with their food a little bit, and you called it, Stuart. Don't put the camera on me. Put the camera on Stuart. Stuart called it. He said they for a mid to late game composition, and boy, did we go late.
That's as late game as you're going to get, really, a 30, 40-minute game. But LATAM is the only region at the moment to even take a game off of China. Coming into this, the strongest region, everyone thought, in the entire, entire world. And LATAM come in and they take a game away from China. It's the biggest upset, definitely.
And they're so prepared. They look so good. They have clear set plays planned as well, such as the level 1. We were saying, yeah, they need to do these kind of plays to really get a lead, to really win the game. But at the end of the day, I think it's crazy to say, but I think they just outperformed Nova here as a whole, not taking anything away from them.
Yeah, again, right? Maybe Nova not putting the pedal to the metal when they needed to here. We hear some laughing going on. We hear all of Furious Gaming walking by us right now, just loving exactly what happened. But again, we wanted to highlight the Rift Herald. That was their first objective that they got, because remember, last game they got no objectives here, and they weren't necessarily getting the gold that they needed to when they were fighting.
I mean, the problem was that Nova was basically like 1,000 gold in every single lane. It was a very low-kill game at the start, but it was just Nova again playing the map so much better. It was situations where in the sideways as well, the Furious Gaming were just losing a lot of gold. That was the problem. All the sideways, all the gold they were losing, and Nova were able to just use that. And Latam were just grouping in the mid lane, and we're playing basically ARAM at some points during this game.
Yeah, and I remember at this moment, the first attempt at the Elder Inferno Dragon, after game got pushed off, I was like, okay, Nova needs to take this, otherwise we reset and we do it again. So a great job by Furious to continue to buy time for Romo.
And this is exactly what we've seen from Zed so far. You keep pressuring your opponents, you make them burn spells, you make them burn stasis, and eventually something will give. On top of that as well, I gotta give credit to his teammates. Pressure was not the only one lifting the weights in that game. Libra was tremendous, and I think his efforts in that game really helped his team across the finish line.
Yeah, the Jace getting the opportunity to scale here, and we were wondering, hey, at what point are you going to stop splitting and group up? But then they went with a 1-3-1 to close it out. Here's the Baron, and we're like, okay, this is close, but Long showed he still was here to play with a huge, huge steal with the Fiora.
That's his moniker, right? The son of the dragon this time around. The son of the
Baron.
He gets the steal. He nearly did. I thought they had it. I thought Nova was back in the game off of that play. But honestly, Furious, they stalled out the game so they played so. We had some criticism about their macro. We said maybe the Jace should be grouping, maybe the Jack should be splitting, maybe the Z should be grouping. But at the end of the day, they didn't care about that. They make it work.
Yeah, that moment there, Yami has the Galleon taunt ready to go, and maybe starting to feel the tilt, maybe feeling the nerves. Missed the taunt, that allowed Pressure to escape, and they were able to continue to push on forward. Fight up in here. I think this is when they take the, this is our clue, this is our winning moment here. They got the second Baron, and we're able to push it on in. Again, Baron still was great Long in the rest of Nova Esports, but I think they ended up with a negative Baron goal that you can see again. Pride. Muy orgulloso there for Furious Gaming. They, again, pull off biggest upset in all of Wild Rift. You can see Coach saying, all right, let's calm it down.
I think that's what he's saying.
Now, because we're really here to play. We know that they can bleed. And honestly, this goes such a long way, not only for Furious Gaming in this specific matchup here, but for the whole tournament.
Yes.
As Nova, again, just kind of stunned.
And the crazy thing is now, you look at Nova backstage, worried. If they lose this series, they're basically just hold China. Like, what do we go in now? How do we go into this tournament? You know, we coming in, we thought that China was going to be the best region, but now Furious Gaming, they're the ones that are like, you know what, we got nothing to lose. We can go into it. We can play our game, play what we're comfortable with. But Nova, on the other hand,
my God, look at that. Look at that gold graph.
I mean, same kind of thing where it's like, okay, we're hovering around 4,000 gold, because I think that's what the lead was in the last game as well. Hovering around 4,000 gold until the 10-minute mark, but the clip never really was off.
Yes.
Like, we were both acting like, hey, Nova gonna push on the pedal, and like, Furious, are you gonna pick a fight? But then we're like, oh, Furious is scaling. Like, so they're fine with this. If Nova wants to keep, you know, just playing C's, that's fine. As you see the damage charts coming on out, it's Orianna leading way above everyone.
And again, back to the draft as well. The draft in the first game, Furious Gaming for it went early game team com, but they were like, okay, we can beat you in team fights. We can go for this scaling game, you know, the Jax, the Orianna, and even pressure on his Zed as well. Zed is such an annoying champion to deal with in the late game. You know, every single time Remake just walked a little bit further forward or a little bit out of place, Pressure was like, okay, I'm going to go in on the Zed. I'm going to go aggressive. I'm going to try and kill you. And there were situations where everyone had to stand around Remake at points and basically become a meat shield because the Zed was just jumping on top of him the entire time.
Right, and what's a great champion when everyone's clumped up and trying to be a meat shield?
It's gonna be the Jace.
The
Coach
Jace!
Egon with the right call here. If he sold the Howlbreaker, if he got the Cyrilda's Grudge, we might have seen a bit more out of them, but it doesn't matter because Furious Gaming, they make it work. And I love what we saw from them last game. I honestly want to see what they can pull out in the next game as well. If they keep the draft adaptations the same, we might see Nova honestly be threatened because, like you said, they didn't push the pace. They didn't accelerate the tempo. And that's not something you're used to seeing from the WRL.
Yeah, I'm just racking my brain right now for across both Wild Rift and League PC on like a time where a region, the LATAM region, has taken a game off of a Chinese region squad. Like, this is huge here. And again, we've seen already in this tournament times where teams that are in the lead haven't put the tempo, but they're still able to win later on in the mechanics. They're able to steal the bear and things fall apart. But the resiliency shown by this squad, the game plan coming to fruition in terms of scaling and playing through the Jax, allowing the Zed to be a playmaker on your biggest playmaker, probably one of the biggest playmakers we've seen on the global stage so far here on Icons and Pressure with the Zed. And then Jace, when they went to 1-3-1, I was like, don't 1-3-1, no one really does 1-3-1 well. But Jason Jax went to the side lanes, and then finally pulling the trigger at the right time, the Jax coming on down and collapsing, and Jace doing a great job buying time when Long went down to the other side.
Yeah, there was a situation during the late game where Furious Gaming were stacked around the Baron, and then Long was down in the bot lane trying to kill Jace. But then you put Long down there was someone else who, I can't remember the champion exactly, but there's someone else over, Nian as well, also went down there, Lelouch, and then you're a situation where your Furious Gaming is like, okay, we could just take the Baron for free. There's no jungler here, there's nothing that they could do. So they've got the Elder Dragon, they got the Baron, and that's how they ended the game. Long was able to basically stall the game with that first Baron still, but the second Baron, as soon as they take that, it's at the point in the game where Baron scales up and becomes really strong. On top of the Elder Dragon, just nothing Nova can do, even a Chinese region.
That was such a crazy thing to me. When you see Chinese teams steal a Dragon, steal a Baron, you kind of have a feeling like they've come back, they've won the game. But Furious stalled it out, and they came back, got a second Baron. That really adds to how impressive this win is from them. They lost to the miracle play coming out from WRL, but still, they managed to stabilize, they regrouped, and they came back stronger. Honestly, impressive mentality from them.
Yeah, Libra and Prusher, these are two of the best solo laners that we've seen so far in the tournament. You know, Iza has had some leads here, but hasn't been able to translate into a dominant lead where there is no way back. Will they be able to do it in game number 3? Let's find out together as the draft is underway. And will we have the biggest upset in Wild Rift esports history, in esports history in general? Like, this is crazy.
I think just out of any game, I think it would be the biggest upset, I think, in esports history, probably. I think it's honestly on that sort of scale. And it's interesting to see, you know, will Furious Gaming go for the same sort of plan? Will they try and prioritize a Jace this time instead of the Karma as well? I think the Jace pick in general was really good. But now what are Nova going to do now? Are Nova going to ban out the Jace? Are Nova going to maybe ban out champions that maybe they don't want to deal with? Or do they feel confident enough that they can turn this game around?
I think there's two options on the table right now from Nova. Your comp last game didn't really accelerate the game, didn't really have a better late game. On red side especially, you need to have one of those two win conditions. Nova needs to identify that and say either we go quicker here or we have better scaling. We need to figure something out. Same bans on Furious, and I think this is what really enabled them to get the winning matchup. Echo, we said he wanted to go away from skill matchups. He made it work. So with the Lee ban, Kha'Zix ban, Furious setting themselves up for success.
You say matchups, I think sometimes Jax can just bonk you.
Yeah, once you get to a certain point in the game, right?
You just get past 15 minutes and like Jack's not really skillful, you just bonk, 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 bonk.
And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Nova leave that open again and just are like, hey, let's just not let them scale. Let's ball up, let's team fight afterwards. And yeah, we'll see what the final ban is here as we've got the Lee Sin, Kha'Zix, and Yuumi banned away by the LATAM squad. Where are we going for Nova? And it's the Alistar gets taken away. So Kapazeba's champ pool getting pinched just a bit. So first pick here for Furious Gaming. Where are we going?
Again, a lot open. Jace is open.
Yeah,
Lucian is open. Corki's open. There's a lot of champions that can be picked up, but yeah, I think it has to be the Jace.
I honestly think the first half of the draft is going to be the same. It's going to be a run back here for both of these teams. Chinese teams, Eastern teams as a whole have a tendency to say, the draft was not the problem. We could have played better. If we play better, we win that game. It's a very traditional thing, and exactly like we predicted, right? These are strong picks. The picks were not the problem. We just need to play better.
So Corki getting locked in instead of the Lucian here, but the Ziggs back to dish out the damage.
The scaling, right? What worked for you from game 1, we're going to take it back. And Degon, Stuart, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe Lucian has not won a game yet. We said when Corki start playing Lucian, he's going to start winning. Nova, #1 regular season team. lost on the Lucian as well.
All right, the biggest difference here, the Zed now, like, the scale, one, but then two, Corki can get away with Zed a lot easier than the Lucian, right?
Yeah.
We saw the Lucian have some issues getting a little closer, and we've seen that throughout icons where the shorter range champions have been disrespecting the engage range of those that want to hop onto them, like Zed, like a Jax, but Corki has a little bit more of an escape button there with the Valkyrie and Garen getting picked up here.
Just in priority, really, by Nova picking the Garen. I think, yeah, you have to ban EP mages on the side of Nova because some source of, if you go full AD comp against the Garen could just go full armor and it's just basically unkillable. So Nova probably going to ban out Orianna and probably Morgana as well.
Right. And last time I believe it was the Morgana and Karma, right?
Yes.
Karma. So Karma going to be the one that is open, theoretically, right? We'll wait and see. Gragas get taken away here.
It doesn't matter which pick you leave up because both picks are so good with the Jax. Echo did a great job last game. If you give him a supportive champion, okay, it's going to be the stab band away instead. Maybe they want to trade here. That could be a possibility as well.
All right, waiting for the final ban for Furious Gaming. Just the realization that we wanted a 3-game series here, and we're getting it with Furious Gaming and Nova Esports is just wild.
Probably the most likely game of the entire game that we thought would go to a 3-game, and it's our first 3-game series of icons so far.
Renekton ban away, and they go with the Rakan here. So maybe that was the thing that was missing, the ability to engage once you get that 4,000 or 5,000 gold lead that Nova's consistently gotten here within the first 5 minutes. Again, Furious Gaming, Rakan able to do that.
Galio's honestly been a very underwhelming champion to me after the nerf, so I feel like the Rakan is going to be a great boon to Envy's draft now.
I think they're really shutting down Cabose's champion pool right now.
Yeah.
You know, the Alistar ban, the Set ban as well was for the support pool, and also the Rakan ban. So now what's Capo going to pick up here? There's so many engaged champions that have gone down. I feel like Capo has been a champion player that has played very aggressive, played all of these aggressive champions, but the Karma pick is pretty much the only AP champion that's left open.
I still would like to see some engaged support coming in here, but there's really nothing left. I guess Leona, so they just go for the Braum instead. It's not a bad pick, but I feel like this hurts them because how did they win the game last time? They were aggressive. They could find fights. They could find avenues to go in. Braum doesn't give you that.
Right. It feels like you're asking a lot of pressure as they have this whole series to now make his own play. You got a lot more of kiting away, running into a Braum, less so of like instant engage, right?
Wukong jungle? Wukong jungle, Garen top, right? That seems more likely here to me.
That's first time we've seen Wukong jungle for a long time, really, to be fair. It's mainly Wukong Baron lane that we've seen, but I think on the side of Furious Gaming, you kind of don't have that engage source now from the Alistar like you did in the previous game. You have a Braum that most of the time plays really passive, but to be honest, on the side of Furious Gaming, how do you engage? How do you play aggressive, you know, as Furious Gaming?
Pressure and Echo. It's the same two guys from last game. I think they really need to step up big here, and Libra, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
All right, the draft has been completed. History has been made with Furious Gaming taking 1 game off of Nova, but will that be a footnote in the history books, or will it be its own chapter? Let's find out as we send over the decisive game number 3 to TJ and Grandin.
Let's go!
Well, Furious Gaming, they get to write their own story. They get to decide how
Stuart
things are
also
gonna go.
kind of threw me off. I was like ready, and then it was like, let's go, and it like squeezed in there.
Let's go! You know, like the Korean casters.
I liked
you
it.
gotta do it with me.
Oh, in sync. All right.
Yeah.
Let's
go! All right,
Game number
Furious
3.
Gaming, bringing us our first series in the Icons Global Championship.
Our first game 3 in the International this year, Nova Esports expected to dominate here. I know we've said it, but incredulously enough, it is Furious Gaming who took them the distance. And I was telling you right before we went on mic, I think they might have done it again in the draft. Oh my.
We saw this happen
my.
last time. Surely it cannot happen twice in a row.
I don't know, Nova. You really have to expect that after it happened last game. I know that was 40 minutes ago, but still. It's so scary in these level 1s as well because Braum is like devastating.
Here's the amazing thing, TJ. Furious Gaming have doubled down. Even with the champions banned away, the Orianna and Alistar removed, they've gone back with just a slight twist.
Well, the thing that happened last game was Nova Esports didn't run the map, didn't earn a massive gold lead, didn't punish them for only drafting late game. And if that happens, then absolutely Furious Gaming are right to say, okay, let's do it again. Because Furious Gaming's strength, as is the case for most of the WL teams, as is especially the case for them, a team with Campasiva and Prusher on it, is their team fights.
Right.
And if Nova Esports are going to give them a free bus ticket to Teamfight Town, they'll take it any day of the week, so they build the composition around it again.
Being able to play for that, Nova Esports do see themselves adapt slightly now with this Rakan to better help them facilitate the engage, so try to avoid that situation you just mentioned.
I would also say I think this, like the removal of Dilution, the Corki coming in here,
Right.
like this is a little bit more of a late game composition from Nova Esports. But that in and of itself is interesting, because the response to being blasted out in a late game 5v5 teamfight is not, alright, well let's make sure that doesn't happen. Let's give Long like his Lee Sin or something.
And a really interesting decision here from Nova as well.
Yeah. Early pressure here, and this is what I'm like interested in. Long is an incredibly good Lee Sin. It would be so easy if I'm the coach of Nova to say, okay, well, let's just win early. Let's get Long Lee Sin, let's run the map.
An
Oh,
interesting
flash.
move here from Libra.
Oh!
A few auto attacks away, Nian picks up the honey fruit in time.
He misses the empowered shock blast. Really good timing from Long. Or sorry, from Nian to dodge it.
And we start to see some of the early power here from Ita.
And so, Nova Esports, instead of doubling down on the early game and just trying to make sure they never get to it again, they said, you know what? I bet we win those late game team fights. Let's just make sure we have the tools for it. It'll be fine. And that feels risky to me, granted, because it didn't just feel like Furious Gaming, you know, had gotten to a state their composition was good at. They were winning those fights. They were earning those wins.
A good rotation here from Nova to move down to the bottom end.
Yeah, there's a lot of gold, actually, getting passed over to them.
We'll be able to check out the turret a
This
decent
might be a
amount here as
whole
well.
turret. Okay.
Still a little
Got
bit
entire-
away.
An entire wave. That's
But-
scary.
It is very nice to see Nova Esports making proactive moves this time around.
I was just very nervous because Remake was sitting there with the satchel charge. Sarther was a ways away. They decided not to take the risk. I'm jumping. Nova Esports lost to Furious Game.
Look, anything could happen here at this point, TJ.
Pressure and Libra already up here on the top side, hunting Long in his own jumper.
Which is surprising that Long is willing to take this exchange. The Cyclone first comes through. We also have to fight as Yami joins
Interruption!
in. Prussia over by the back. Long chases after, but Prussia's still alive. How does he get away with these things? Pressure in and pressure out. Now Furious Gaming, they have to worry about the rest of their team. Libra baited in by his teammate, but Campazero will get away by flashing
Good
through the
honey
wall.
fruit.
Re-engage overall. The Pressure is still alive, but a clone comes through and Long finally takes down the adversary.
And there's your answer. The desk was kind of wondering what is the Wukong here for. He interrupts the middle of the Deathmark application. When he gets ulted, he drops the Cyclone, and we can see it on the replay here. He drops the Cyclone as Prussia ults him and completely cancels the play. Here it is again. Interrupted, shut down. Prussia cannot complete the combo. Prussia runs for his life and eventually gets hunted down. That's Nova Esports having a plan to deal with aggressive Zeds.
Echo does manage to get away here. Remake and Sata fighting their own fight in the bottom end. But it's Remake that burns his summoners away. Well, we need to start looking towards what happens here as the 5-minute mark is now approaching. Pressure shut down with that early first kill, but despite that, still very even a game on both sides.
Yeah, pretty even gold. I will say there's a difference here in that Nova got those kills by killing Prussia, which is something they didn't get last game. Last game, around this time, Prussia was already looking pretty nasty. So, if Furious Gaming want to repeat last game, they need to find a way to get gold onto their Zed. He is so much of their playmaking. Oh, a little unfortunate.
One of the ways could have been a kill onto Yami.
Look at the Nova Esports vision game. I love this. They were doing this last game as well. Making sure they have that deep ward just behind the Dragon Pit. Making sure they have wards all throughout their own jungle so there's no way to steal anything away.
And always dancing on the edge of where the vision could be. You saw what Ita was doing there. He was standing away from where the ward could potentially be.
In the bush as well.
Exactly.
Making sure nobody can like flank and
Oh
contest
my
that.
goodness. This is interesting here. Package comes across to get a kill onto Libra. As they were doing the Riptail, being intercepted. Remember, Echo used his flash to get away from the last fight, so now taken down. Jasendo Embrace comes through from Sata, but it's only going to stop them from going in Long, working on that dragon as well.
And Furious Gaming being treated... Oh dear. There it is. Furious Gaming being treated with the respect they deserve this time round.
Absolutely.
Nova Esports playing them like another WRL team, and that is getting them the wins in this macro game, playing the map very carefully, respecting the fact that Furious Gaming can win team fights against the best of them. It's a victory for Furious Gaming, a victory for the WRL, but a bad sign for them in this game specifically.
I will say this, TJ. I feel like Furious Gaming have that X factor in them. You know, something.
You think they're still in this?
I won't say that. I won't say they have an X
okay.
factor.
Well, you had a moment there to get some Twitter followers.
Well, I
You
still
had a
think
moment
they're an
there to be
amazing
the cool
team.
kid.
I
And
still
you
think they're
backed
an
away
amazing
from
team.
it.
I don't want. If that's how I get Twitter followers, I don't want that.
Right. If that's how you get power, you don't want power.
Exactly. And I think Furious Gaming, I feel like they have that X factor, right?
Okay.
Now Nova Esports really have to pull out all the stops. They're doing their due diligence and they're getting it done right. 0-5 to start off the game. Prussia trying to assassinate the back line.
Doesn't have the damage.
He got remakes so many times last game, but this time it's not going to be the same.
Unlike last game, he doesn't have so much damage that he can just one-shot because he's behind in the early game.
And not being able to one-shot means he has to back off. He's going to
Yeah.
reset, come back into the fight again if they want to go for the Rift Herald.
So kind of the vector here for Furious, if they would like to win this game, is stall out. Wait until the mid-late game. You're looking at like 2-3 item completion on Zed, and then he'll be able to one-shot again. And
Right.
that's where Furious Gaming can win. But they need to keep the goal within about 5,000, already kind of drifting out of that window. And that's very worrying, because if Nova are more than like 5,000 ahead, you're not going to be able to kill Yusa. You're not going to be able to kill Nian in these fights. And that will just be devastating. If your full combo can't get past those key targets, then there's just no way to win. So, it's hard, Grandin, is the
It is
summary.
hard.
Is the cliff notes.
That summarized quickly, it is a very difficult game.
Summarized quickly, it's rough out there.
It's rough out there.
Furious Gaming, a little bit behind here.
We need to see what they have in store for us, as Rift Herald was picked up during that time. Goes over too long. They already do have that first turret, so a second does assist them quite a bit here. Getting a little bit more tempo. Don't want to allow Furious Gaming a free entry into that mid to late game like you've mentioned.
Yeah. I will say Nova kind of slowing down here, which is how they got into trouble in game 2. Okay.
Slowing
2v1.
down, going to the bottom man.
2v1.
He's in caught out position.
He's dead!
Goes down to Echo.
Not exactly who you want the gold into, but they might get this turret. Good Mega Inferno Bomb.
Just making sure he clears out the wave, and there's no way for Furious Gaming to get the turret there.
Did you see Furious Gaming go, hang on, there's a Ziggs in the area? And immediately turned to try and find him a kill.
Prussia wants it, but he has no flash. It's gonna be difficult.
Oh dear, and he's all alone here.
An interesting position, but the satchel charge used in the wrong target. Prussia
He's
actually
dead.
losing health to the Ignite remake. A little greedy there. Flashes in for the auto attack.
Long up top here.
Libra trading against him. The Cyclone actually doing some good work here. Primary Cyclone used, but the secondary still available. You see Yen over the edge
He's
of the
got
wall.
the kill.
But it's difficult to follow up with. He doesn't have the mana. He has the flash though, but would have been aggressive.
Kappa trying to ult the wave for clear. A valiant effort. I really like the idea.
He got the B off as well.
Yeah, it was a good PA, but unfortunately there was a satchel charge to take down the turret, and that's going to continue across the map. Here's the Nova Esports we expect. Very clean, very clinical, earning a gold advantage.
Close to 3 turrets. 10 minutes into the game.
And it's not looking so great for Prussia. Echo does have a decent amount of gold. It's been a really standout series for Echo. We introduced this series by kind of defining him as a more supportive jungler. That has kind of not been true. And now it needs to not be true the most, because if Furious Gaming is a path into this game, it is through their jacks right now.
Libra has been doing well into the end, but it really will be about Echo's performance in this game.
Turret just goes down to minions.
It happens.
He was getting pushed by Libra.
It
Libra backs
happens.
away, and nobody could get to it in time, so Libra gets kind of tangential credit. A little bit more gold in the Furious Gaming pocket.
Any amount will definitely help them get to a point where Echo will be able to deal with the threats. We see
Here we
the
go.
strongest combo available.
Under
it will
turret.
be Echo and Pressure.
Turret Prussia doesn't want it. Echo kind of thinking about it. Prussia?
He's convinced. He was like, yeah, maybe.
Okay, all right,
Maybe. Now
maybe.
we go on the turret. Now because you have the crowd control from Kaposeba, we will kill you on the turret.
Yeah! On the opposite side of the map. Though, Dragon is being taken.
Heal being used just to top them up, and the turret likely to go down here. Remake in an interesting position, very aggressively on the turret here, but it trade back beautifully, still buying time. Yami holds Echo in place with the Ignite taking him
Echo
down.
dies.
The wave is gone, and now Furious Gaming has to start backing away. A beautiful knockup as a double kill onto Sather. Pressure starts running away, brings Campozera with him.
Disaster for Furious Gaming in the top lane. Perfectly played by Remake, recognizing how much focus he was drawing.
He's running back in. Pressure!
He doesn't have the damage.
He needs one more auto attack. One more auto attack to take down Pressure. They're chasing after the kill. Flashing away the fadeaway shot. But he misses.
No doubt.
Yami picks up the turret. Support's got to do all the work.
Oh.
Gets knocked up on the Pressure as well. The Death Mark will not get it done.
No.
And Yami survives with the shield.
That's double digits for Nova, and very likely the gold lead they need onto those key carries. Again, you're looking at Echo, you're looking at Pressure. They're doing pretty well in last game. This time round, not enough gold to be able to get those key targets down in fights. And so there are two paths. Either we play another 30-minute game, Furious Gaming somehow hold on, or Nova Esports look poised to close out this series. I think the big takeaway from the series, though, is that we're here, is that we're in Game 3. Is that Furious Gaming forced Nova to play like this, to
That is
play
very true.
WRL form against them. WOL fans should be very proud, and I think this raises some very exciting questions about the entire region.
I'll tell you what, TJ, in more immediate fashion.
Okay.
Now I'm a little concerned for this group.
Yeah, spicy group now.
It shakes up. If Furious Gaming looked this good against Nova, power rankings could change.
Not my power rankings.
Not your power rankings.
Yeah, I think that's very much the case. I also think one of the things we have to be paying attention to is, okay, well, are China as unbeatable as we thought they were?
Yes.
And that's something
Absolutely.
we're going to have to answer. And it will, okay, Pressure.
Doesn't seem to amount to too much. A little bit more damage from Yami, but Pressure starts to run away. The Ignite comes across. Furious Gaming corralled into the bottom end of the map.
And I do definitely think there was some, like, Nova Esports were not giving Pressure and Furious Gaming the respect they deserved. Game number 1. He's burning.
Pressure really goes down there. Rift Tunnel popped at the bottom end of the map. There's only 3 available to defend. Watch out for the flank from Echo, but it's far away.
Echo thinking about flanking. Doesn't really have an angle. Too many players there. And this is again, Nova just playing this so carefully. Like, the Nova from Game 2, who's having a good time, forcing some fights, gone. This
Absolutely.
is a Nova whose teachers took them aside, talked to them.
Told off for slacking off in class.
Yeah. You cannot give Furious Gaming an inch, because they will pry it open.
And the 10,000 gold lead here from Nova.
There we go.
Yetsu might go down here, but he's charging up his movement speed, trying to get away. Flank coming through from Echo. Yami on the tail, trying to chase after. Comes in, gets a big 2-man knockup. Yetsu gets an angry entry angle back in. Pressure tries to move in onto the Garen, but he won't be able to finish him off. Taken down, Furious Gaming. Lose the 3 that were pursuing the Garen.
That's going to be Baron. Nova Esports turned immediately off of the picks. A very good response. Iza has been Pressure bait all game. And they go, oh, our fishing lure is out. We see Pressure on him. The entire team was rotating up to get these kills. Iza is tanky enough, he can take the hits. They turn, they win the fight, they pick up the Baron. And this should be a bit of a bumpy road for Nova, but this should be their game 3. And them continuing into the winner's side of this bracket, of this group.
The Baron up here for Nova. They had a difficult time executing it with it last game, with the wave clear from the Orianna.
No worry this time.
No Ori this time. The Karma, similar ults, but very different other spells.
Ori nada.
Ori nada. Got it. Who are you? Honestly, DJ. Attempt to catch out Pressure. Will succeed here for Nova.
Yep. Pressure just getting a little too greedy, a little too desperate, I think is the right frame.
He's off in the side lane, getting a little desperate. He knows he needs that goal to get back in.
I mean, there's just no back into it if you don't take risks. There's no shame in Pressure for trying it, but
Absolutely.
math does not. Here come Nova.
Pushing in from all 3 lanes, Nova Esports at the doorsteps of Furious Gaming. Gaming looking for a re-entry angle back in towards the bottom end. Libra starts running back towards the fountain. The megaphone bomb misses out, will not be able to take down its target, but Sartre walks in too far forward, gets tagged by the Charm. Nova on the Nexus. Nova moving in for the win and striking back. It is Nova Esports with a series victory.
Nova Esports get the win, but there is one thing for sure, and that is going to be, it is not their story out of this series. Yes, Nova, you did win, but everyone is going to be talking about Furious Gaming today.
You look at what's happened. Weakness shown by the WRL, and it was Furious Gaming that brought that to us.
What a performance by them. Still in this group, as you talked about, looking deadly in this group. We'll have to keep our eyes on them, of course. Nova Esports go up to the upper side of this group, now just one win away from the group stage themselves. As we advance here in the play-ins, and they take their first ever winner's selfie after playing the first ever Game 3 here at Icons.
Well, if the Game 3 performance is anything to work off of, have some good faith in Nova Esports making their way into the group stage. But now we see an interesting situation where Furious Gaming could shake up the group.
Yeah, I think, like I was talking about, I feel kind of bad for Nova because they did get the win. They did look really clean in Game 3. They looked pretty clean in Game 1.
But it's not the story.
But the fact that Nova got exploited, like, you should be leaving that, and I think they are with a smile on their faces. Furious Gaming will be who everyone is talking about today. They delivered an incredible performance and earned that win in Game 2 over Nova, forced Nova to take them more seriously, forced Nova to play them like a WRL team, like a team they were playing in the WRL finals. And it turns out that was enough to contain them. But it does raise some questions, not just about Nova Esports, but about, I think, the gap between China and the rest of the world.
That's
maybe
true.
specifically the gap between China and the WOL. Maybe we undervalued his high initial gut reaction. I'm very excited.
All right. And of course, we have our resident RL fanboy prepared to make his case on why they think it's going to be better. We're going to toss it back over to D-God, of course, Omo and Stuart to break down this series and to talk about what we have in store for us coming up.
Thank you very much.
Let's go!
Cassier. Let's
Love it.
go! All right.
Hi,
It is
baby.
Nova Esports getting the win there. Remember, Stuart's the one that started that one there. D-Gon here with Omo and Stuart.
It's going to become a trend now. I feel it.
All right. Good job, you trendsetter. What do you think? Well, both of us, or all of us, getting this prediction right at a Nova Esports win. But again, it came at the cost of history. Furious Gaming getting their win. Game 3, though, I think T said it best. Nova came out playing like a team that had a teacher talk to them outside and say, you know what? Stop horsing around. And we saw much more restraint from Nova away from taking sketchy fights, as basically we saw the same composition, the same invade early, and it did cost a flash on Yami to start things off here.
Yeah, it's just crazy that that could just happen again. And like TJ said as well, in addition to the fact of Nova, just really full tryharding. Not that they weren't in Game 2, but they really pulled out all the stops here. I think Wukong Jungle was picked. They probably didn't want to show so early as well. I think initiative was definitely on their side this game, and that was something which Furious was lacking.
Yeah, Stuart, we brought it up in the draft. It was, man, we're going to need a lot out of Prusher to make his own plays, and it felt like he just didn't have the resources to hold someone down.
Yeah, I feel like there was a little bit of maybe over-excitement, maybe a little bit of over-aggression because they were trying to make plays in the Baron play that you can see on the replay now. And just before that as well, they went for like a little invade in the top side of the map and maybe a little bit of over-aggression that Nova capitalized on. But, if you're Furious Gaming, you should be proud of this game. This is a game, this is a series that you should be proud about. They did lose the series in the end, but I think LATAM as a region will be proud of this team.
Yeah, this is one of the greatest parts of being on the ground here at the first international global championship, because we come in with these preconceived notions of the power rankings, and generally they prove to be true. But while things are still being figured out, while the game is still being figured out, moments like these happen. As we see the damage charts here by Nova. Zig's doing a lot of damage, like we normally think, but Furious Gaming will always be able to come back to this. The whole LATAM region will always be able to come back to this. Nova gets the kick in the butt that they need to be like, hey, anyone can win, and that's the beauty here at Icons, and something that's after we've had 2-0 after 2-0 after 2-0 after 2-0. I think more 2-0 that was missing. And then we get the most unlikeliest 2-1 here almost.
Yeah, no one really saw this one coming, and I love the point that you raised as well, a kick in the butt from Nova. This was a team that was #1 in the group stages in WRL regular season. They destroyed it. Went to playoffs, they kind of lost their footing a little bit. Maybe this is the wake-up call they need here at Icons as well. I don't want to reach too much, but like the Costa said as well, WRL fanboy here, trying to make excuses.
Yeah, no, but now's the time. Now's the time to make those reaches. Now's the time to have those overreactions, underreactions, right? Because it did happen. We've been talking about it on paper for such a long time. Predictions have been going out for such a long time. And this was one that we might have been able to do in our sleep. And then the game plays out the way it does. And Furious Gaming, unlike so many other teams in the underdog role, were able to capitalize on the advantages that were given to them. They never said die. They did outscale. And then when it was time to fight, they fought. They took the lead. And then when Baron was stolen away, they were able to regroup here. So I think that is a great, great story that we're going to have from Furious Gaming. And they're going to be making this group A very interesting moving forward here. Stuart.
This is a really exciting group now. I think Furious Gaming coming into this was maybe considered the weakest team, but now they can go into it being like, wait, we can actually beat these teams. We can actually qualify into group stage, and I feel like they should be really, really confident about themselves as well. You even saw when they lost the first game, they were still in high spirits. They were still confident. They were like, as long as we play our own game, as long as we play what we're comfortable with, we can take the victory. They've taken a game off China. What can they do against SEA and even Europe now?
Okay, let's not talk about against SEA. Let's talk about losses for a second there. But I want to point out that they will be playing against, correct me if I'm wrong here, the loser of Flash Wolves and Game Lord, correct? So that's going to be Game Lords, right?
Wow.
I don't know
That's a very
about
exciting
that. I
matchup
don't
now
know about
all of a
that one.
sudden.
All right, oh, hey, we're getting ahead of ourselves
don't know
before we
about
turn
that
to the next game. To quote TJ, though, this is going to shake up the power rankings. Not my power rankings. So we're going to have to see what happens here in the future. Let's go ahead and shift the focus back on over to Nova for just a little bit longer here. Long, he proved to be worth it, even though in the losing effort here, Long, I think, did a great job.
Yeah, he definitely did. Long in game 2, not the best, but I also feel like he didn't really have the tools to enable him as the Fiora. He had to kind of do a lot of work by himself, and at the end of the day, that didn't really play out. In the last game, though, the Wukong not doing a lot of damage, but exactly like what Costas pointed out, did a great job at starting the fights, disabling the Zed, and game 1, you have to remember his carry performance on the Kazakhs as well.
All right, well, with that, we have an interesting interview. A lot of the times we chat to the winners as we take a look at the bracket. It's updated. Nova moving on forward. And so we had the opportunity to chance on the losing side here as we have Prusher standing by with Mika after this outstanding performance in a losing effort. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
Thank you so much, Digon, and our gentlemen over there on the analyst desk. You guys are absolutely right. This is still a massive series, especially for Latin American fans, because we have made history right here. And joining me right now, we have Furious Gaming's Prusher, the man himself. Congratulations, felicidades, on that game 2. Of course, you might not have won the series, but you certainly captured the hearts of a lot of fans around the globe. So first question for you. How did that feel, that game 2, knowing that that was a historical moment for Wild Rift Esports?
¿Cómo te sientes de haber ganado? Porque es un momento histórico, el hecho de que Latinoamérica haya ganado.
Sí, realmente no íbamos con muchas expectativas para este partido, sabíamos lo difícil que era, aún así siempre vamos con la intención de ganar y no vamos desanimados para nada, pero sí, siendo realistas, creíamos que era difícil. Aún así creo que dimos un buen papel, más de lo que nos esperamos nosotros mismos, de hecho. Entonces, triste por la derrota, porque siempre querés ganar, pero bueno, contento con haber dado un papel quizás mejor de lo que se nos esperaba de nosotros.
Okay, he said that they were very surprising because they didn't know that they could win, but after they won, they are absolutely surprising and they got the best of them.
The energy was amazing. We felt it all throughout the venue. I was cheering for you guys as well because everybody was just shouting. At what point during game 2 did you realize that you had that game?
Ella dice que todos estaban muy emocionados cuando estaban jugando y que en qué momento ustedes sabían que ya habían ganado el juego.
Sí, en el game que ganamos nos sentíamos confiados porque en las dos partidas habíamos ganado el early game. Early game fuimos muy superiores, creo que en las primeras dos partidas. En la primera, cuando iba entrando el Biden, nos sentimos muy muy complicados porque nos comían mucho el mapa, nos sacaban muchas torres, no encontramos la manera de contestar, pero una vez pasamos esa etapa en la cual creo que nos sentíamos más perdidos, ellos lo hacían muy bien, podíamos retomar el mapa cuando ya teníamos varios objetos y peleábamos, forzábamos peleas con nuestros campeones que eran mejores que los suyos, tenían más daño, tipo, éramos mejores peleando. Entonces, de hecho, muchas veces matábamos a uno, matábamos a dos y no podíamos forzar ningún objetivo porque no, se nos complicaba, porque tenía mucho pokeo y demás. Entonces nos enfocamos mucho en jugar peleas, jugar teamfight, que creo que era lo que nos servía nuestra compo contra la de ellos. Y en el momento que nos llevamos el dragón anciano infernal, de ahí supimos que la partida estaba en nuestras manos. Y nada, hicimos todo lo que fue necesario para poder cerrar la partida.
Okay, he said that at the first it was very difficult, but after they crossed the first level, they started to go the dragon, and it was very, very important to fight in team, in a group. So when they start to do that strategic, they know that they could win.
Amazing, because the comms, we heard it, of course, all across the venue. Now, you might not have won the series, but I'm sure that Furious Gaming had a lot of takeaways from this. What was the biggest learning for you guys from the series?
¿Cuál fue el mayor aprendizaje para ustedes después de que ganaron esa partida?
Creo que nos adaptamos bien en la serie. Creo que tuvimos en el primer mapa tuvimos un buen orden, igual que en el segundo. Nada más que la composición acompañó un poco al playstyle que queríamos jugar contra ellos, que era lo que nos servía. Entonces en la segunda hicimos un cambio drástico en cuanto a nuestra composición, lo que también sabemos jugar. Como otro estilo diferente, el cual nos sirvió mejor. Fue un poco lo mismo, el early game, creo que dominamos. El mid-game se nos flojamos un poco porque ellos lo hacen muy bien y después supimos retomar de nuevo la partida y conseguir la victoria.
Okay, now they say that they learn how to be more better strategics for the game, and now they can work together and be better in the future.
Looking forward to it. You have won a lot of new fans all over the world. Prusher, muchas gracias y felicidades. Back to you guys over on the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Mika and Prusher, for that interview. Again, just great stuff here, and you could see how much it meant to Prusher and the rest of Furious Gaming.
Yeah, and completely deserved as well. Well-earned win there.
Yeah, with Furious Gaming, with Prusher, I think being the main star of that roster, you can see that he's so passionate about the game. I think the whole LATAM region and Furious Gaming as well, they're so passionate. They want to try and be one of the top teams, which LATAM as a region maybe hasn't been considered, maybe a team to be region to be considered one of the best, but showed today that they can do it.
All right, something to watch for in the future. Now, a WCS heavy hitter is coming up next. Flash Wolves are here, and they're taking on Game Lords. Stuart, we'll have a breakdown right after this short break. See you in a bit.
There's something about games.
What you're doing there gives you real chills.
There is one thing that can't be stopped.
Feelings. And if you can feel it,
It must be real, right?
and that's
real magic.
Who you rockin' with? Who you rockin' with? Who you rockin' with? You not rockin' with the best, yes, better than the rest. This is level up, cause I'm way too fresh. All I do is win, so I tend to say less. Except when I come through the flex. Rockin' with the best, yes, better than the rest. This is level up, cause I'm way too